And for the third time in 3 days, it's the Niagara Falls Americans and the Niagara Ironbacks gearing up, but this time in George Taylor Field in St. Catharines, Ontario. Third time in a row, these two teams facing off, like I mentioned, and the Ironbacks on a heater have won their last 3 in a row and their last 2 against the Americans. My name is Tom Rook. Good evening, alongside Ethan Duncan. Welcome to the Americans Sports Network from historic George Taylor Field. Ethan, welcome in.
The Americans need to salvage at least one of these 3 straight games against the Ironbacks. They've been close both times. They were leading in both the games. That game yesterday, 9-4. They were leading for most of that game before Xander Clark came in and just quite frankly blew it. And then the game before, they were up 2-1 after a great performance from Foxcroft. Slattery comes in, blows it again. So Americans have had great starting pitching performances, and then as the relievers blow the game away. And Americans, it feels like the playoffs are out of the picture right now, but still not the case for the Ironbacks, who are now in that 4 spot. So Americans like to try and get at least one here and snap this long, brutal losing streak.
We'll turn it over to the Ironbacks PA and hear their starting lineup.
I can't hear you when you're talking.
Batting 6, the shortstop, number 5, Carter Shin. Batting 7, the extra hitter, wearing number 7, Seth Morrison. Batting 8, the left fielder, number 10, Josh Bushin. Batting 9th, third baseman, number 18, Cooper Martin. And batting 10th, the first baseman, number 72, Mateo Sursta. Starting pitcher for the Ironbacks is number 6, Carter Thracha. The Ironbacks team manager is Richard Griffin. He's assisted by Coach Mike Nightingale and Coach Tyson John. Let's welcome tonight's opponent, the Niagara Falls Americans, and invite them to the third base line for the national anthems. And at this time, fans, we'd ask you to please rise if you are able. Remove your hats for the playing of the American and Canadian national anthems. For tonight's ceremonial first pitch, we'd like to thank our amazing sponsor, Club Roma, and we have the honor of welcoming Keegan Brule to throw out the first pitch this evening.
After both anthems, we're ready to get it going here at George Taylor Field in St. Catharines, Ontario. It's the Niagara Falls Americans and the Niagara Ironbacks. The Americans coming into tonight 9-19 on the season, 6-10 at home, 3-9 on the road. Losers of their last 7 games. The Ironbacks 13-14-1 on the year, 9-5-1 here at George Taylor Field, 4-9 on the road. Very similar to the Americans, just one win more than Niagara Falls on the road, but they've won their last 3 games, 2 of which coming against the Americans.
Yeah, I just felt like they've had a step above the Americans. The Americans are able to get a couple of runs off their starters, but their relievers have came in and been dominant. We saw a good outing from Noonan, only gave up 2 runs, but still had the lead. But they brought in Luca Bell, who I believe in 2 innings had 5 strikeouts and really shut the door against the Americans yesterday. And we thought we were going to see another left-handed pitcher. We saw 2 left-handed pitchers in Noonan and a Bell. We thought we might see Fitzpatrick, but we're going to see the first outing of Carter Krawczyk, who's currently in the transfer portal, was at Purdue and didn't really play that much. It was also at USF and didn't play that much, so probably going to be on a pitch limit today, but really curious to see this stuff. The owner, Mal Romanen, was really high on him, said he has some good stuff. Really excited to see to make sure he throws some strikes.
Yeah, an exciting one, to say the least, as that brings us into the American starting lineup. Before we talk about the Ironbacks defense today, here is the American starting lineup tonight.
David Harris starting off for the Americans in right field, went 3 for 4 yesterday. Evan Core.
Actually, this is yesterday's lineup, so we're going to switch that and look things over once again, but definitely a different lineup tonight for the Americans as they come into the 3rd straight game against the Ironbacks. This week, 3 in a row, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all against the Ironbacks. As here is tonight's Americans starting lineup.
Yeah, I was going to say, that one looked a little bit familiar. So you're going to bring back Justin Gladfelter, who hasn't played in 5 games, had that huge error in that Batavia game on July 4th where he tried to steal 3rd in a game, but they only needed 1 run. Ended up being a huge thing, and because of that, he didn't play for 5 days. I feel like he sort of learned his lesson. Americans probably could have used him after they've lost 7 straight, so he's going to start out in second base. Xander Clark, who didn't really have a great performance yesterday, pitching, going to be back in the starting lineup in right field. David Harris going to be center fielder. Matt Ganschow in that 4 spot and DHing. Dominic Zangardi finally going back in the outfield and left. Adam Weiss staying at first. Thomas Marcotte at third. Vincent Fafada coming back in the lineup, the extra hitter. Cooper Rowell moving to shortstop, usually at third. And Christopher Snooze, the catcher here today for the Americans.
So Justin Gladfelter, will dig in his first game of the year against Carter Krawczyk. Pitch misses upstairs for ball 1. Carter Krawczyk getting his first start of the summer, coming back after a blood clot. Now taking over on the mound on a pitch limit, somewhere between 45 and 50 pitches tonight is what they're hoping to get out of Krawczyk. After he lands strike number 1 to Justin Gladfelter. Krawczyk anywhere from 90 to 93 with a fastball, also features a sinker, sweeper, and a changeup for the Ironbacks. You mentioned Ethan, pitched this past year at South Florida, did not appear in a game, but was on the squad. Pitch to Gladfelter, he lunges at one and pops it up on the edge of the infield dirt. Mateo Sursta hauls it in for the first out of the top of the first, so interested to see how the Americans fare against a power arm in Krawczyk.
And you know he's at that pitch count of 50, so quite frankly, if you're the Americans, you wouldn't really mind just working out long at-bats if you can, just trying to have him maybe only go 2 innings, if not 3, but curious to see who will go in the pen, knowing that he's not going to go as long as Noonan did, who went, I believe, 6 with only 2 runs.
So that'll bring up Xander Clark, 1 out now in the inning. Clark batting from the left side against the righty Krawczyk. Pitch outside, misses low and away with the changeup. So Krawczyk played 2 years at Salem State University before his time at South Florida, and during 2 years at Salem State had a no-hitter and a perfect game. Now on the mound for Niagara. Pitch to Clark, bounced up the middle. Going to be a tough play. Shin stops, pops, throws on a bounce. And Sursta can't make the pick, so Xander Clark will reach. What a stop, though, from Carter Shin. Almost retired Clark.
It was extremely tough plays. It bounced just off the back of the mound there, so I had to play it on a couple of hops. Close play there, but ball gets away.
That'll bring up David Harris. Interested to see how that one's scored. Whether going to be an error on the throw or given a hit. Most likely a hit. So Clark off first. Still looking for his first steal of the year. Somewhat speedy outfielder over there at first now. See if he wants to take a bag here in the top of the first. David Harris digging in. Pitch. That one's lined into left. Hit well. Bushing couldn't see it at first. Now drifts back and makes the play for the second out of the inning. And Clark heads back to first. Harris, a good swing and got a good barrel on it, but a nice play by Bushing out there in left.
You mentioned just a good hitter. It was 3 for 3 to start out yesterday before a fly out. They did opt to rule that a single. I could have really seen it going either way. It was a tough play for Shinby. You feel like a good throw could have beat him by a step, but regardless, Xander Clark won't mind. Still at second, looking to move over, so it brings up Matt Ganshaw.
So here's Ganshaw. Count 0-0 pitch. And he waves and misses at strike one. There's that fancy sweeper from Krawchuk that he will feature alongside a fastball sinker and a changeup. So a 4-pitch mix for the upcoming senior, but has 2 years of eligibility left. An academic senior, an athletic junior. 2 outs in the inning. Clark off first. 0-1 to Ganshaw. There's another sweeper outside, though. Ganshaw learned his lesson and takes it off the plate for ball number 1.
Only 8 pitches so far, 2 outs. So really just trying to sort of work a rally here, because by that metric, he could go 6 innings if they kept giving up 8-pitch innings.
Yeah, Ironbacks have taken 2 in a row against the Americans, outscoring them 15-6. That one catches the bottom of the zone with a fastball. Now 1-2 from Krawchuk to Ganshaw. Krawchuk's first outing this summer. Actually a St. Catharines native. 6'1", 190 pounds. Redshirted his freshman year at Purdue as well. Really big arm talent as he misses with the sweeper. Good stop behind the plate. Snap throw. And Xander Clark's back in time. Hoss Fenwick, a nice job back there. But Clark dives back in.
Super close fade. Hoss Fenwick played yesterday. Was 1 for 2 at a walk, also a hit, and nearly picked him off there. We've also seen a couple of gate frames here as we've seen Krawchuk go to that low outside corner. He's gotten the call a couple times. Still 2-2 here for Ganshaw.
Yeah, Fenwick hit in the 10 spot last night, moved up to the cleanup spot tonight. Ganshaw from the right side. The 2-2 taken outside. 3-2. Ganshaw's worked it full after a rough swing, to say the least, on the first pitch of the at-bat. So count is 3-2, 2 outs in the inning. Xander Clark over at first. Mateo Sursta's not going to hold him on, so Clark will have a free base to take if Ganshaw were to walk, obviously. But he'll go on the pitch. There he goes. Pitch to Ganshaw, line down the left field line, but drifting foul. There's that sinker that Krawchuk features, riding in on a right-hander. So Ganshaw did a good job getting out in front and pulling it down the line, but a little bit too much. Keeps the count at 3-2. Count still full. 2 outs here in the top of the first. Americans, Ironbacks. 0-0 is the score. Clark off first. 3-2 to Ganshaw. There's the sweeper. Got him looking. Carter Krawchuk, his first outing as an Ironback this season, is able to allow 1 hit and work around it. The Americans get no runs and leave just 1 runner on base in Xander Clark. The Ironbacks coming to bat here in the bottom of the first at their home field, George Taylor Field. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the ongoing support of Blaze Brockway Contracting. Family owned and operated for over 15 years, Blaze Brockway Contracting specializes in all aspects of remodeling and renovation. Call 607-259-7607 for all of your construction and home improvement needs. The Niagara Falls Americans thank Casella Waste Systems for their continued support. Casella offers sustainable waste management and garbage pickup right here in Niagara Falls. As an environmental service provider, Casella manages and transforms society's waste into new resources. Call 716-637-4843 to get a price quote on garbage pickup. Back here at George Taylor Field, bottom of the first, the Ironbacks coming to bat. We'll take a look at the Ironbacks starting lineup tonight. Leading off, playing center field, Wes Thompson. Had a really good two-game stretch going for him here against the Americans. Went 3 for 3 in game one. Also had a hit last night. Starting in center field, leading off, Peyton Panazzo at second base, batting second. Panazzo was slid down last night in the order, hitting 7th. Now moving up to second. Jordan Gallo, the extra hitter last night, will head out to play right field tonight. Haas Fenwick, like I mentioned, batting at the bottom of the lineup last night. Now going to slide up into the 4-hole. Carter Shin at shortstop, staying right there. Hank Vandermeer back in the lineup as the designated hitter. Seth Morrison, who we've seen warming up the past couple days in the bullpen, actually a two-way guy, plays first base as well. He's the extra hitter tonight. Josh Bushin out in left field for the second straight night after Will Mahares was sat down after the first game of the series. Cooper Martin back at third base, and Mateo Sursta getting his first start over at first in this 3-game set against the Americans. Carter Krawchuk on the mound. And that brings us to Wes Thompson to lead things off for the Ironbacks. Thompson really having a great year so far for the Ironbacks. Only played 6 games, but hitting over 450. Just 1 RBI. Evan Core on the mound for the Americans. His first outing of the year on the bump. Pitch misses up and in for ball 1. We've seen a lot of new guys on the mound for the Americans. Yesterday, Xander Clark and Jacoby Chambers both make their first appearances on the mound, and Evan Core doing the same. There's a fastball outside corner called a strike. 1-1. Evan Core, a 5'8", 175-pound junior, going to attend Arkansas Tech in the fall. Actually played for the Americans last summer. Pitched 1 time, a 6-inning, 2-hit, 1-run outing against the Buffalo Diesel. Pitch swung on and foul tipped into the glove, so now 1-2. Evan Core 1 outing last summer for the Americans. It happened on July 8th. Exactly 1 year ago today against the Buffalo Diesel.
Yeah, hopefully looking for a great performance here, obviously, against an actual PGCBL team. As the teams are really a team the Americans really take players from and quite frankly beat up on, as most of the other teams do.
So he already strikes out Wes Thompson. Evan Core off to a hot start here in the bottom of the first. A nice curveball from Core, who's traditionally an outfielder. But K's Wes Thompson to start off this Ironbacks order. First two of these games, have been very pitcher heavy. You look at game 1, a 2-1 game going into the 7th. And last night, a 1-0 game going into the 6th. As Panazzo swings and misses at strike number 1. Core blows a heater right by him. Core working on the windup against Panazzo, who's from Homer Glen, Illinois. A middle infielder. Pitch. Another fastball misses upstairs. Now 1-1. Panazzo, a switch hitter, batting from the left side against the righty Evan Core. Pitch misses away with the curveball. Now 2-1. Tom Marcotte over at third base and in. Panazzo can run. 10 steals on the year, so protecting the bunt for hit is Marcotte. Here's the 2-1. Misses upstairs to the Ironbacks second baseman.
Panazzo, we've sort of seen him jump up and down the lineup so far. Really started out high in game 1, didn't play that great. Moved him down to that 7 spot. And then went 1 for 1, had an RBI and 2 walks. They decided to move him back up.
Pitch from Core. Misses low for ball 4. So Panazzo reaches on a walk, as that'll bring us into the Americans' defensive alignment tonight. Dom Zangardi out in left, David Harrison center, Xander Clark in right. Then the infield, Tom Marcotte, Cooper Rowell getting his first start of the year at shortstop. Justin Gladfelter, his first start of the year here in Canada at second base. And Adam Weiss once again over at first. Then CJ Snooze and Evan Core, the battery for the red, white, and blue. So 1 out in the inning. Peyton Panazzo at first after a walk. First pitch to Jordan Gallo, misses up and away for ball 1, who is currently number 4 in all the PGCBL in batting average.
Americans were already against him 0 for 2, but walked twice and came around to score. So batting average went down, but still able to raise his on-base percentage.
Pitch from Core is fouled off behind home. So now 1-1 coming to Gallo. Yeah, Gallo now at a .453 average. Struggles a little bit with the strikeouts. 15 on the year, which is third on the team. Tied with Ronan Glassford for the third most on this Ironbacks team. There goes Panazzo, an early jump. That one's hit up the middle. Nice backhanded stop by Gladfelter. Throws on the run off the bag. Weiss's tag not applied. So Jordan Gallo will reach here with one out. Now first and second. Probably scored a hit. Really nice play by Gladfelter.
Gladfelter played it well, just throw a little bit up the line. You thought Weiss would be able to apply the tag, but just unable to get him. So now first and second here, Core in a little bit of a jam there.
So here's Haas Fenwick doing the catching tonight for the Ironbacks as they're quickly in business here. First and second, no, one out. First pitch to Fenwick, a fastball misses upstairs for ball one. The Americans losing a couple guys these past 2 days off the roster. And now we'll bring in some new faces here in these next couple days. 1-0 pitch from Core, curveball, can't land it on the outside corner. Now 2-0.
Americans have led the last two games when they've played the Ironbacks, but Ironbacks are still going to tack on a one or maybe more in this bottom of the first.
Weiss not holding on Gallo at first. That one's called a strike on the outside corner. Interesting move going Cooper Rowell in the 6-hole tonight. Anthony Savino the night off. No Alex Glasscock in the lineup as well. So Rowell, the guy playing short tonight with Marcotte's bat hot as of late. He staying at third base. Core deals a 2-1. It's a fastball lined up the middle, through for a base hit. Coming on Dave Harris. He'll field. Panazzo will stop at third. So station to station for the Ironbacks. Makes it a bases loaded, one out situation for Carter Shin, who's been swinging a hot bat as of late.
Ball hit pretty far, but Panazzo just waited at second, so no chance to score on that single. But Core really looking for a ground ball here after two straight hits.
Yeah, force at any bag. So a ground ball is likely two. Shin can run, hitting .250 on the year in just 11 games. Can play at all three infield spots. Shin had a broken wrist earlier in the summer, now back full-time with the Ironbacks. First pitch from Core misses outside, but it's called a strike right on the corner. My eyes thought outside miss, but Core gets the call.
Shin had that error earlier on that play to Clark.
Shin 5 for his last 9 at the plate as he pops that one up in foul ground on the third baseline. Marcotte drifting back, and he makes the play. A big out for Evan Core, keeping the bases loaded. Now 2 outs for Hank Vandermeer.
Huge out as it brings up Vandermeer. Just don't want to fly ball at all, and just easy play for Marcotte to keep the runners over. Big spot for Vandermeer. We've seen a couple times this year for the Americans.
Vandermeer just 7th game of the summer. First pitch from Core misses outside with a fastball. Vandermeer, a two-way guys, thrown 5 1/3 innings, a 5.06 ERA in this summer's action. Swung out and missed right there.
Only
strike one.
Only 7 games played, Tom, but already has 6 RBIs. So it goes to show what he could have probably have done in a full season. Looking for at least a couple here. Core trying to get a scoreless inning.
Yeah, 3 RBIs in his last 2 games at the dish. 2 for his last 8. Pitch. Down and in. Called a strike. A nice spot from Evan Core as he's quickly ahead 1-2 there against the 6'7" Vandermeer.
Core already has a strikeout. Looking to do it here against Vandermeer.
Pitch from Core. Misses in the dirt. A nice changeup from the American starter, but Vandermeer doesn't bite.
Vandermeer yet to draw a walk at all on the year as 3 strikeouts. Certainly would try and walk in a run here if not being able to put the ball on the barrel.
Just 1 extra base hit for Vandermeer on the summer, looking to drive in some runs and make it his 2nd. Pitch fouled off down the third baseline. 2-2 all over again coming from Evan Core. Nowhere to put Vandermeer So Core really got to focus and hone in on the zone. Working out of the windup with the bases loaded. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Vandermeer batting from the left side. Here's the pitch. Misses upstairs with the heater, so that will allow the runners to get a head start. Vandermeer puts something up the middle. You'd think Gallo scores easily from second. Might give Fenwick a chance to go first to third.
Saw the Americans walking a couple runs yesterday. Try not to do the same here with Core.
Pitch from Core, outside, misses, and there's the first run of the ball game. The Ironbacks draw first blood, and they lead 1-0 on an RBI walk by Hank Vandermeer.
Yes, the hitter, number 7, Seth Morris.
That play by Gladfelter comes back to hurt him as that run scores. Now, bases still loaded. Ironbacks up by 1. Looking to tack on here.
So Xander Clark came on yesterday for the Americans and walked 7. Allowed 7 runs as well. First pitch from Core in there, called striking on Seth Morrison. Core already 2 walks in the inning, one of them for a run. You wonder how much pitching depth the Americans actually have today as well. Count 0-1, 2 outs in the inning. Pitch from Core, a curveball. He's quickly ahead 0-2. So Core ahead 0-2 here against Seth Morrison, who's a two-way guy. Pitch, fastball, checks his swing. Yes, he went around. Evan Core gets out of a jam, allows 1 run on 2 hits. No errors in the inning. 3 men left on base, and he Ks Seth Morrison to end the game. End the inning. Excuse me, not end the game. And the Americans come to bat. But a good job by Evan Core to get out of the jam.
Yeah, it's a big spot for Morrison there. That was the first at-bat on the year. We talked about a right-hand pitcher / first baseman, really putting a big spot, strikes out on 3 pitches. Americans honestly would have preferred if he was the guy that came up that last at-bat. But run does score. Ironbacks do their job, and Core able to get out of there relatively unscathed. But Ironbacks get their first lead against the Americans to start out in this game 3 of the doubleheader, of the not doubleheader, of the 3-game series.
So 5, 6, 7 coming up for the Red, White, and Blue here on the Americans Sports Network. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Stalka Agency. Serving Western New York since 1957, Stalka Agency makes insurance simple through proactive planning and straightforward conversations. Call the local Stalka insurance team at 716-634-7070 to get a tailored insurance quote that's as precise as a pitcher painting the outside corner. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Greater Together Credit Union. Greater Together Credit Union provides personalized banking, loans, mortgages, and savings accounts for anyone living, working, or attending school in Erie or Niagara counties. For more information, current rates, or to apply for membership, visit greatertogethercu.com. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank McDonald's for being a sponsor of the team this year. With an extensive menu of well-known favorites, McDonald's is famous for its convenience. Especially during a long baseball season, McDonald's is the perfect place to grab a quick bite to eat and get right back to the ballpark. So head to your nearest McDonald's and enjoy all the classics. Sammy's Pizzeria has been family-owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and are the originators of the 1/2 tray of pizza. The Americans would like to thank Sammy's for sponsoring the team this season. Pick up all your favorites right across the street from Sal Magley Stadium at Sammy's Pizzeria. 1-0 ball game here at George Taylor Field. Let me take a look at the Ironbacks defensive alignment for tonight. Carter Krawchuk and Haas Fenwick, the battery. Cooper Martin, Carter Shin, Peyton Panazzo, and Mateo Sursta in the infield, and Josh Bushin, Wes Thompson, and Jordan Gallo from left to right in the outfield. Dominic Zangardi to lead things off here against Krawchuk. First pitch, swinging and a miss, strike 1. Zangardi, a fastball blown right by him.
Yeah, good first inning from Krawchuk with a pop out and Gladfelter, a fly out to Harris, and that strikeout against Ganschow. The only real thing was the single from Xander Clark, but looked really solid, only 13 pitches.
Second pitch of the at-bat, misses down and in with a heater. I mentioned Krawchuk anywhere from 90 to 93 with a fastball. Features a sinker, sweeper, and changeup. So a really nice 4-pitch mix for the Ironbacks righty. Looking for a new place to play next collegiate season. Out of the windup, here's the 1-1. There's the sweeper, lands it in for strike 2.
Really good pitch there against Zangardi. Works it to 1-2, trying not to strike out. I feel like he's a little tick up of strikeouts against Zangardi. Obviously, it's only 8 on the year.
Count 1-2. Pitch from Krawchuk. Sweeper misses upstairs. Good take from Zangardi. Now 2-2. You look at the Americans' team or roster. They got a couple Canadian guys. Jace Burden, Tyler Foxcroft. Foxcroft actually started game 1 of the series. Pitch to Zangardi. He's fouled straight back. Right on the heater. So count will stay 2-2 against the Niagara University incoming freshman. Zangardi batting from the right side against the righty Krawchuk. Pitch. Outside misses. I mean to say batting from the left side. Zangardi, one of those guys that really knows the zone well. You mentioned not striking out a lot, but also able to lay off those pitches that are really right off the plate. For a young set of eyes, a really good head on his shoulders. Count is 3-2. Pitch. Swung and a miss. Strike 3. A really nice sinker from Carter Krawchuk. Blows it by Zangardi. And there's his second K of the game.
We were talking about his great batter's eye. Just couldn't hold off on that sinker outside. Usually holds off on that, but just couldn't hold on against that sinker for big out number 1.
So it's Krawchuk's first start of the summer after suffering a blood clot. Talk to the pitcher for the Ironbacks. That one's driven into right field. Gallo back towards the gap, and he runs it down for the second out of the inning. But we talked to Krawchuk, and he said, you know, extremely nervous for tonight's game, but ultimately ready to go after getting 5 quick outs here for the Ironbacks.
He's looked really solid. He's only given up a single hit in 1 2/3 of action. 21 pitches. We talked about that 50 count pitch limit. Right now on the probably going 4 innings, but about 20. Now he's at like 25 pitches over 2.
First pitch to Marcotte. In there. There's a sweeper right on the corner. So Krawchuk quickly ahead 0-1. Really grooving so far tonight. Ahead 0-1 against Marcotte. Here's the pitch. Swung on a miss. Strike 2. So Marcotte quickly behind in the count 0-2. Really taking over as this starting third baseman for the Americans after these past couple games. He's got 5 hits in his last 7. Krawchuk deals. Swung and hit to the left side. Field on the back end by Shin. A long throw across the diamond, and he beats Marcotte. So 1-2-3 inning for Carter Krawchuk. And the Ironbacks are coming to bat here in the bottom of the second inning.
The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Greater Together Credit Union. Greater Together Credit Union provides personalized banking, loans, mortgages, and savings accounts for anyone living, working, or attending school in Erie or Niagara counties. For more information, current rates, or to apply for membership, visit greatertogethercu.com.
Back here at George Taylor Field, the Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Casella Waste Systems for their ongoing support. Casella provides residents with professional waste control and garbage pickup in Niagara Falls that is extremely sustainable. They also offer commercial dumpster rentals for construction and other cleanup needs. Contact Casella now at 716-637-4843 to receive a price quote on garbage pickup today from Casella Waste Systems. So Evan Korback out on the bump for his second inning of work, starting here for the Americans. In his first game of the year on the mound, played in 3 games out in center field. 1 hit, coming via a bunt single yesterday against the Ironbacks. Laid down a nice pretty bunt and beat it out.
Yeah, it might be. That was the only hit on the year so far. We had to double check. We looked at it. We thought it was going to be an error. Then scrolling back, we saw that he would have gotten in safely. So first hit on the year. Something on the other side. He's giving up 2 hits of his own on the mound, trying to leave it at that. After that huge walk to bring in a run, but had that big strikeout afterward, trying to have a quicker outing as he goes to the middle toward the end of the lineup.
That'll bring up Josh Bushin. It'll be 8, 9, and 10 coming up for the Ironbacks. Bushin this year played 14 games, hitting .237 with 9 RBIs. Now starting in 2 nights in a row against the Ironbacks. Went 0 for 4 last night.
Did have an
RBI. Pitch bounced to the right side, but foul.
Didn't see him in the game 1 of this 3-game series, but had an RBI yesterday, and Coach Griffin opted to keep him in for game 3.
0 for his last 10 at the plate, looking to break a little slide. That one misses in the dirt. Count now 1-1. Bushin only played in 1 game against the Americans for the entire season. That was yesterday. Here's the 1-1 from Core. Inside, called a strike.
That wasn't a sound effect, Tom. That was a train behind us. Must have liked that strike call.
Yeah, it scores ahead now, 1-2. Thanks to the train. There it is again. Core out of the windup. 1-2 pitch to Bushin. Misses low, now 2-2. A lot of young baseball players in the crowd tonight from Bulletproof Baseball Academy. Here's the 2-2. Check swing from Bushin. Doesn't pull the trigger. Core just misses with the fastball.
Couple of good pitches. Worked again full. That's why we walked that guy in at a 1-2 count. A couple of pitches to work it full. Try not to get a leadoff walk as they're 0 for 2 leadoff so far.
Core from the windup. 3-2 pitch. Misses outside with a changeup. So a leadoff walk for Josh Bushin. And the Ironbacks have a man on to start the bottom of the second.
Bushin 2 stolen bases on the year. Got to be careful. Don't want to get him in the scoring position as it brings up Cooper Martin.
So here's Cooper Martin. Can play all 3 infield spots as well. So a lot of versatility in the infield for the Ironbacks. Hitting .357 in 26 games. First pitch to Martin is driven out to right field. Not deep. Clark underneath it. Now takes a couple steps in and makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Cooper Martin is retired, and that will bring up the 10-hitter in Mateo Sursta.
Martin flat on 1 pitch, was 0 for 4 in game 1. Didn't opt to use him yesterday, but right there just flies out on 1 pitch for big first out.
Here's Sursta. Played in 11 games this summer, just hitting .200. Batting from the left side against the righty Core. First pitch, outside, misses. Big secondary lead over there at first by Josh Bushin. Possibility of taking second. Just 2 steals on the year for Bushin. 1-0 count. There he goes. Swung on and foul tip. No, he missed it. No, fouled off. Okay. Was right. Just had to double check it. Didn't see the umpire's hands go up right away, but my eyes told me that he foul tipped it. Sursta 0 for 2 against the Auburn Double Days on July 5th. But then before that game, hadn't had an at-bat since June 26th against the Geneva Red Wings, where he went 1 for 3. Got a hit in 3 of his last 4 games, though. Pitch misses outside, so now 2-1 coming to Sursta. Core out of the stretch. Bushin off first. Held on by Weiss. 2-1 pitch. There goes Bushin from first. Another foul ball. So maybe another hit and run opportunity for the Ironbacks. Failed right there.
Yeah, Christie thought it was a hit and run as he ran on the 2 pitches that were fouled off. Just not a lot on it. But got to be careful here for snooze, knowing that it could be another ball outside, having him trying to get in scoring position.
Sursta also gets on the mound and will pitch. 1 appearance this year. Allowed 1 run and had 4 walks. Didn't get a single out. Core steps off, picks off at first. Bushin dives back in time. Core out of the stretch. Deals. Hit back up the middle and through for a base hit. Harris will field. station to station for Niagara. Now first and second with one out here in the bottom of the sixth.
Certainly wasn't a hit and run situation, Tom. Otherwise, runners would be at the corners. But first and second now, another hit given up by Core. 2 hits, 3 walks. So bring up the 9-hitter.
So Sursta driving it right back where it came from. The Ironbacks set up first and second. One out here in the bottom of the second with the top of the order and Wes Thompson at the plate. Bushing off second. Pitch in there, called strike 1. Thompson looks like he's not seeing Core very well. Struck out his first at bat and just took a curveball right there, right down the middle.
Looking as well.
Thompson just his 7th game of the summer. Here's the 0-1. Curveball down, misses. Now 1-1. Thompson in 6 games batting .409 with a .500 slugging percentage. He's 9 for 22 on the year. Core out of the stretch. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Pitch. Popped up, but out of play, so it'll be 1-2 coming to Wes Thompson.
1-2 count now as Core's looking for his 3rd strikeout. Looking to get a big second out with runners at first and second.
Thompson 6 hits in his last 13 at-bats, including 2 doubles in the first game of this 3-game set against the Americans. Count 1-2. Pitch from Core. Fastball misses away. So now 2-2.
Core already has 2 strikeouts, but on those 3 walks, he's had a 2-strike count multiple times. It feels like he'll get a 1-2 count and just struggle to find that payoff pitch like he just did there.
Working out of the stretch. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Pitch. Curveball misses up and in. Now 3-2 against Wes Thompson.
Another count that he's worked full. Just has to at the very least look for a ground ball. Just really struggled after he gets that 2-strike approach. We'll have 3 straight balls numerous times. That's why he already has 3 walks, not looking for a 4th.
Thompson, 2 strikeouts last night against the Americans. Pitch inside, just misses off the plate. That'll load the bases here in the bottom of the second as Peyton Panazzo steps to the plate.
Panazzo walked his first time up on 5 pitches. Certainly wouldn't mind to do that again. Took strike 1, then 4 straight balls. Core in a big spot. He already given up a run. Bases loaded. Not 2 outs this time. It's 1, so huge spot here.
So Panazzo digs in, walked in his first plate appearance last inning. Starting at second base tonight. Core out of the windup. The pitch upstairs misses. Now 1-0. Big at bat here for Peyton Panazzo. With the bases loaded, trying to give the Ironbacks an early lead, stronger than 1-0. Bases loaded. Pitch. Just misses low. Now 2-0. You could see Core upset with the call.
He's getting that call earlier on that inside corner. Now looks back to the outside. Doesn't get the spot. And he thought Crouchick's been getting that spot as well, which you could argue he has. Now 2-0.
Core deals. Popped up. Drifting foul. Long run for Rowell from short. He makes the play. A nice job by Cooper Rowell. A long run to haul it in and foul ground as Justin Gladfelter hustled over and made sure Bushin didn't actually tag up from third. He was going to draw the throw, but stopped a couple steps after the third base bag.
Well, Rowell really knows that area well, as we've seen him be at third base a ton. Shortstop calls it off from Marcotte, and a tough ball that was just hanging in the air. Another huge pop out. That's what happened last time when there was a big strikeout, a big pop out when the bases were loaded again, but still not out of it yet.
First pitch to Jordan Gallo. Misses low for ball 1.
50 pitches already for Evan Core. Trying to at least get around 50-something with a 1-0 game.
Not even through 2 innings yet. Core out of the windup. Pitch to Gallo. Misses upstairs. And not what you want to see if you're an Americans fan. Already in the 50s. Looking to go deep in this game. That's not looking likely here, especially against a 23 RBI guy in Jordan Gallo. 2-0 pitch from Core. Curveball. Lands it. Now 2-1. What makes hitting so hard? Gallo takes 2 balls. Thinks, wow, this one's got to be in the zone. a free pitch to hit, and Evan Core snaps a nasty curveball to land it in the zone, but now 2-1. Pitch to Gallo. Fastball hit hard, stopped by Weiss at first. He's got one play, makes it at first to end the inning. So getting into and out of a bases-loaded jam is Evan Core, and back-to-back innings, the Ironbacks leave the bases loaded in that inning. They scored no runs on, 1 hit. No errors in the inning, and like I mentioned, 3 men left on base. Heck of a job by Evan Core to get out of that.
Besides the walk, which scored the run, hitting-wise, Ironbacks 0 for 4 with the bases loaded, so America's super lucky. They really seem to struggle when runners are on. 6 runners left on base for the Ironbacks, only that one. America's going to get some runners on base after that 1-2-3 inning from Krawczyk, and we'll see if something else can happen as we head to the top of the third.
As we head into the top of the third, Carter Krawczyk back out there for his third inning of work. The Americans are coming to bat here on the Americans Sports Network.
Sammy's Pizzeria has been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and are the originators of the 1/2 tray of pizza. The Americans would like to thank Sammy's for sponsoring the team this season. Pick up all your favorites right across the street from Sal Magley Stadium at Sammy's Pizzeria. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Bully Hill Vineyards for their support all season long. On the south end of gorgeous Keuka Lake, you can taste over 40 wines and enjoy food at a family-friendly winery open 7 days a week. Visit bullyhillvineyards.com to learn more about what they have to offer. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank McDonald's for being a sponsor of the team this year. With an extensive menu of well-known favorites, McDonald's is famous for its convenience. Especially during a long baseball season, McDonald's is the perfect place to grab a quick bite to eat and get right back to the ballpark. So head to your nearest McDonald's and enjoy all the classics.
Back here at George Taylor Field, home of the Niagara Ironbacks, formerly home of the St. Catharines Stompers, a New York Penn League team. Back in the day, a single-A affiliate of the Blue Jays. Ironbacks, more than just a name, represents qualities that all the people of St. Catharines hold and aspire to possess: strength, perseverance, and fortitude. The Ironbacks is a heartfelt tribute to the hard-working people of St. Catharines and the Niagara region. Iron-willed determination of citizens.
Pitch number 25 for Krawczyk. We've seen Core already above 50. I'd like to hit off him at least a little bit and have him go 3 max. And it's going to start off with Vincent Favada.
Here's Vinny Favada, the extra hitter tonight for the Americans, taking aim from the right side against the righty Krawczyk. Out of the windup, first pitch, a fastball. Caught on and missed by Favada. Actually looked like a heater out of the hand, but more like a sweeper. Favada caught off guard. He's down in the count 0-1. Krawczyk out of the windup, deals the 0-1. There's the sweeper again. Hung it this time, bounces to Shin, backs up a long throw. Favada almost beats it out, but thrown out after Mateo Sursta stretches full out into the splits. There's the first out of the inning.
Fisher hasn't played that much this year, but he's been outstanding at first so far. Beats out Favada on a step, doesn't like the call, and Americans, quite frankly, really needed that runner on to start this inning.
Yeah, Favada thought he was safe, but was not. Here's Cooper Rowell playing shortstop tonight. First pitch from Krawczyk, misses down and away for ball 1. Krawczyk looking really good so far here for the Ironbacks. As we mentioned, probably on a 50-ish pitch count limit. Here's the 1-0 to Rowell. Hit to the left side. A nice stop by Martin. Spins, throws across the diamond. Cooper Martin, a nice play over at the hot corner for the Ironbacks. And Cooper Rowell down for the second out of the inning.
Americans have certainly hit it hard. There's a couple great plays by the shortstop and the third baseman. And Krawczyk certainly looks like he's going to go pretty far after not long at-bats from Favada and Rowell.
So here's C.J. Snooze, who's really been struggling at the plate as of late for the Americans. Now batting average has dipped below 100. Here's the first pitch of the at-bat, and this is low for ball 1. So good take from Snooze. The Americans hitting .239 as a team on the year, a .395 on-base percentage, but just a .309 slugging percentage. Snooze ahead in the count 1-0 here against Krawczyk. Pitch in there, called strike 1 with a sweeper. Snooze completely fooled. Krawczyk out of the windup. Count 1-1, 2 outs in the inning. Pitch, sweeper again. This time Snooze lays it off. Now 2-1.
Good take from Snooze. Has really been struggling with the strikeouts. 13 strikeouts to 5 walks. Look to draw a walk here with 2 outs and go back to the top of the order with Dave Harris.
Count 2-1, 2 outs in the inning. Krawczyk out of the windup, deals a fastball, low and away, misses. Now 3-1. Krawczyk tonight really humming it. Could be sitting low 90s after coming back from a blood clot.
He's found the strike
in the box. Count 3-1, good hitters count. Pitch, a fastball hit the other way. Sursta plays it on a hop and makes a nice play. A 3-3 unassisted putout for Mateo Sursta. And the Americans go down 1-2-3 once again. So 10 up, 10 down for Carter Krawczyk. Besides a hit from Xander Clark. So 9 out of 10 up, 9 out of 10 down. And the Ironbacks coming to bat here in the bottom of the third as they lead the Americans 1-0 here at George Taylor Field.
The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Greater Together Credit Union. Greater Together Credit Union provides personalized banking, loans, mortgages, and savings accounts for anyone living, working, or attending school in Erie or Niagara counties. For more information, current rates, or to apply for membership, visit greatertogethercu.com. Sammy's Pizzeria has been family-owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and are the originators of the 1/2 tray of pizza. The Americans would like to thank Sammy's for sponsoring the team this season. Pick up all your favorites right across the street from Sal Magley Stadium at Sammy's Pizzeria. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank TLC Pet Food for their continued support. Specializing in nutrient-dense recipes, TLC Pet Food offers dog and cat food with fresh ingredients and added probiotics. Find the whole life dog and cat formulas for your furry friend at tlcpetfood.com. A special thank you to Tropical Heating and Cooling for sponsoring the Americans this season. Locally owned and operated, Tropical Heating and Cooling provides expert installation, repair, and maintenance for home heating, cooling, and air quality systems. Call 716-870-0753 or head to tropicalheating.net to submit a service request and knock your heating and cooling needs out of the park.
Back here at George Taylor Field in St. Catharines, Ontario, across the border, maybe about 25 minutes from Sal Magley Stadium. Not too bad. Definitely, not probably, the shortest drive this team will take on the road. Evan Core back out for his 3rd inning of work. You wonder how deep into the game he really will go. Truly an outfielder. So not much stamina out there on the mound. First pitch misses outside to Haas Fenwick. Fenwick laced a single into center his first time up. 1 for 1 so far today. Here's the 1-0 from Core. Inside, misses. Now 2-0. So Fenwick ahead in the count 2-0. Here's the pitch from Core. Outside, gets a called strike with the curveball. Back into the count. Now 2-1. Fenwick on the team. 3rd in batting average this summer for the Ironbacks, hitting .389 in 19 games. Here's the 2-1 from Core. Inside, just misses. Now 3-1. Fenwick 4 doubles and 12 RBIs. 6 walks to 7 strikeouts. Here's the pitch. bounced fouled on the first baseline, so now it'll be a 3-2 coming from Evan Core.
Core 4 walks to 2 strikeouts. Leadoff runner got on in that bottom of the second due to that leadoff walk.
Fenwick batting from the left side against the righty Core. Core steps off the back of the mound, resets himself with Snooze behind the plate. Core out of the windup. Here's the 3-2. Curveball bounced to first, fielded by Weiss, and he'll take it himself to get the first out of the inning. Looked like a little confusion whether he was going to flip it or not, but gets the out either way.
Wasn't the fastest coming over to first, so you saw Core come over. No collision there, but first out gotten on a full counter against Fenwick, who singled his first time up in that bottom of the first to let the bases loaded. So quick first out here as it'll bring up Carter Shin, who fouled out to third. That was to Marcotte for that big second out in that inning before the RBI walk from Vandermeer.
Pitch from Core is fouled off on the first baseline. Out of play. Core just 2 1/3 so far into tonight's game. One outing last year, exactly 1 year ago from today against the Buffalo Diesel. Here's the 0-1. Popped it up in the infield. Tom Marcotte underneath it. He makes the play for the second out of the inning. So 2 pop-ups for Carter Shin, both to Tom Marcotte at third base.
Much less of a high-pressure situation here for Vandermeer, who walked on that full count to get that only run on the board. Base is empty here. Core looking for much easier bottom of the third.
First pitch from Core is drilled to right. That one's back at the wall, and it's off the wall. Vandermeer not running hard out of the box. Going to make a close play here at second. Not in time, so he slides in with a 2-out double for Hank Vandermeer.
Off the bat, Tom, we thought, all right, this one's absolutely crushed. One hops to the wall. Good throw in from right. No chance to get out Vandermeer, who slid into second. So able to get on safely once again with a 2-out double. Looking to get a quick out after that. And you had it as it brings up Seth Morrison, who's first at bat, struck out on 3 pitches. So another big situation here for him, and really fluttered under it last time.
Vandermeer off second. Pitch from Core, a curveball. He drills Morrison, who will reach on a hit by pitch. That'll bring Josh Bush into the plate. So Vandermeer at double was not running very hard out of the box. Might have had a chance at 3 if he took off out of the box. Thought it was gone off the bat, but landed right in front of the warning track, bounced off the wall. He's still standing at second.
Big spot for Bushin, who walked in a full counter. You're really annoying that you walk Morrison, who really, or not walk, hit Morrison, who really struggled in that first at bat, and you get him on easily. That was a big hit by pitch from Core as it brings up Bushin.
First pitch from Core is a fastball in there, called strike. So Seth Morrison off first after the hit by pitch. Hank Vandermeer off second after the double. 2 outs in the inning, a Carter Shin pop-up, and a Haas Fenwick ground out to first. Core ahead 0-1. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to short. Raul Fields on the high hop. Will go the short way. Step on second for out number 3. So in the inning, the Ironbacks get no runs on, 1 hit. No errors in the inning, and 2 men left on base. We played 3 full innings. The Ironbacks have left 8 runners on base. Only been able to push 1 across, but they still lead here against the Americans 1-0 after 3 complete.
Yeah, just a good outing from Cores. We see Jackson Lerner warming in the pen. Last time he came out was game 2 of that loss to Geneva when they're down 10-0. He came in, gave up 3 runs of 3 innings of no-hit balls. So he's sort of been kind of shaky, Tom, as we've seen the hit by pitch really been his problem. But looked good against Geneva. It was really the one bright spot, as we're going to see Carter Crutchy come out for his 4th inning of work. We talked about that 50-count pitch limit. This could very well be his last outing at 33 pitches. America's trying to make him work for it here and have him leave with either a 1-0 game or maybe make it a tie ball game.
Let's take a moment to recognize Salino Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, a valued sponsor of the Niagara Falls Americans. Since its founding in 1995, Salino Plumbing has grown from a specialized plumbing company into a full-service contractor offering 24/7 emergency repairs and maintenance. Salino Plumbing's local Buffalo plumbers are licensed, experienced professionals who work with your best interest in mind. They also aim to handle calls on the same day with fully stocked service vehicles to minimize wait times. Call 716-202-9665 for all of your plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical needs today. Take a look around the PGCBL. A bunch of teams off last night. Auburn, no game, but tonight, different story as Batavia has a 6-0 lead over the Red Wings at McDonough Park in the bottom of the third. The Double Days lead the Newark Pilots 5-3, and the Elmira Pioneers over the Olean Oilers 3-0 at Bradner Stadium. Now the Ironbacks passed up the Pioneers in the standings before today's game. They're now in the 4 spot, so if the season were to end today, the Ironbacks would be in the playoffs.
Also, just looking at Auburn as well, only up 5-3 against Newark. Nearly upset Jamestown yesterday, down 6-2. Scored 7 runs in that top of the ninth to be up 9-6, but then blew it, and Jamestown walked them off after Eric Weeks scored. Nate Muncy the game-winning hit. So Newark's been quietly good. Obviously hasn't got any wins, but they're toe-to-toe against the 3 and 1 seed.
First pitch to Gladfelter, called a strike with a fastball. Krawchuk quickly ahead 0-1. He's looked really good so far tonight. Just allowed 1 hit and infield single to Xander Clark. Working out of the windup against the righty Gladfelter. Here's the 0-1. Sweeper swung on and missed, making Gladfelter look silly.
Gladfelter's also tough because he really hasn't played in about 5 days, and you're coming in against the former D1 guy. Certainly a tough spot for him.
Yeah, kind of like a good luck, here you go, against this guy. Here's the 0-2. Fastball outside, misses. Yeah, Gladfelter was picked off in the 9th inning of the July 4th game against the Muck Dogs. Has not seen action since then before tonight, so thrown right into the fire, the leadoff spot against the Division I arm in Carter Krawchuk. Here's the 1-2 to Gladfelter. In there, called strike 3. And another strikeout here for Krawchuk. His 3rd of the night.
3rd of the night for Krawchuk. Second one looking. Big first out against the leadoff guy. So it brings up Clark. Only reason why there isn't a 0 in that hit column here for the Ironbacks.
So Richard Griffin going to take a walk to the mound, talk things over with Krawchuk, make sure he's all right, put both hands on his shoulders, as there is some action going on in the Ironbacks bullpen. And looks like Krawchuk is going to be done. So an unbelievable outing in his first outing of the year. Carter Krawchuk, 3 1/3 innings, no hits, runs, 1 hit, excuse me. And he's coming out. The Ironbacks will call on the bullpen here in the top of the 4th. You're watching PGCBL Baseball on the American Sports Network.
The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Bully Hill Vineyards for their support all season long. On the south end of gorgeous Keuka Lake, you can taste over 40 wines and enjoy food at a family-friendly winery open 7 days a week. Visit bullyhillvineyards.com to learn more about what they have to offer. A special thank you to Tropical Heating and Cooling for sponsoring the Americans this season. Locally owned and operated, Tropical Heating and Cooling provides expert installation, repair, and maintenance for home heating, cooling, and air quality systems. Call 716-870-0753 or head to tropicalheating.net to submit a service request and knock your heating and cooling needs out of the park. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Bully Hill Vineyards for their support all season long. On the south end of gorgeous Keuka Lake, you can taste over 40 wines and enjoy food at a family-friendly winery open 7 days a week. Visit bullyhillvineyards.com to learn more about what they have to offer.
So the Ironbacks calling on the bullpen in Jaden Corpin, who recently pitched on July 5th against the Auburn Double Days. The Ironbacks won that game 6-1.
Yeah, only went 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, but also had a big strikeout. Also came in, obviously, with that big lead when they're up 6-1. So on the year, 6.87 ERA, appearance number 8 here for Corpin, 1-1 ERA. Went 18 1/3, 9 strikeouts, averaged about a strikeout every other inning. and trying to come in after a really great performance from Krawczyk. We talked about his pitch count, only went 37, so just under that 50 count, but struck out Gladfelter looking on 3 pitches and trying to continue a great outing after the one-hit performance from Carter Krawczyk.
So Corpin, a 5'10", 165-pound righty out of Ajax, Ontario. He's thrown 4 1/3 innings against the Americans this summer, allowed 5 hits and 5 runs in those 2 outings against the Americans. 4 earned, 5 total runs. Has not striken out a single Americans batter in those 2 outings either.
Yeah, it looked terrible in that game 2 of the Education Day on June 11th, which the Americans ended up winning. Only went 1 1/3, gave up 3 hits and then 3 runs as well. No strikeouts there, as you mentioned. So Americans really had his number. You talk about 5 1/3, so about a third of his appearances really came against the Americans, and those 9 strikeouts coming in those other 13 innings. So Americans have had his number here, looking to do it again.
Yeah, you mentioned the Education Day game. Really did not have a great outing in that one. First pitch to Clark is bounced to second. Panazzo got a lot of time, and he takes it on to first for the second out of the inning.
We were talking all about the issues he's had against the Americans as Clark grounds out sharply after one pitch.
Heater up in the zone. Clark liked what he saw and just kind of hit it right into the ground. Hit it hard, like you mentioned. Got a good barrel on it. That'll bring up Mr. Consistent in David Harris. Been really good this summer for the Americans, leading this team in batting average. Bats from the left side, currently hitting .446 on the summer. 25 hits leads the team as well. 2 doubles, so 23 singles. Pitch to Harris. Misses low for ball 1. Harris, 3 hits yesterday against the Ironbacks. 4 for 7 in this series against Niagara. Ahead in the count 1-0. Pitch from Corpin. Inside, called a strike with a curveball. Harris riding a 7-game hitting streak. Also a 12-game on-base streak as well. Starting in center field tonight. We've seen him more in right the past couple nights, but with Cora on the mound, he's in center. Pitch to Harris, line and through for a base hit on the right side. So Harris extends his hitting streak to 8 and his on-base streak to 13. And that'll bring up Matt Ganschow.
Americans looking to start a 2-out rally here against Corpin after a nice single laced by Harris. Certainly Mr. Consistent after that hit. It brings up Matt Ganschow. I would say also pretty consistent as well. Struck out looking on a full count pitch to Carter Krawczyk and looking to do something here.
So here's Ganschow batting from the right side. Harris off first with 2 outs in the inning. Harris jumpy off first. There he goes. Fenwick's throw down. Not in time. Actually skips into center. Harris will stay put. Good backup by Wes Thompson. So Harris swipes the bag.
Fenwick shakes his head. It was a pretty good throw. Just a better pick. You think he's able to get Harris out. But runner gets into scoring position. Now Ganshaw's job a little bit easier here on the 1-0. Single can tie this ball game up here.
Really tough for Panazzo at second base there to try to pick it on the lip of the grass. Bounced almost over his head. Ganschow ahead in the count 1-0. Pitch from Corpin. In there, called strike 1. As much as the Americans have struggled on offense as of late, the pitching also struggled as Evan Core. We'll see if he goes back out there for a 4th inning or not. Jackson Lerner getting warm. Harris off second. Pitch to Ganschow. Foul tipped into the glove of Fenwick. So count now 1-2. The Americans allowed 9+ runs in 4 out of their last 7. And have only mustered across 6 runs in their last 3 games. That's not really going to do it in a league like this where it's all about the hits. Count 1-2. Pitch to Ganschow. Curveball bounced to short. Sheehan over. Dive stops it, but that's the only play he'll have is to keep it in front of him because Ganschow beats it out, an infield single.
Good play by Harris. He looked for a second and might get past him, and then sort of skirts back at a second because otherwise he could have been out trying to advance to third. So first and second here as Dominic Zangardi comes up. Big spot for Zangardi. We've talked about really always seems to come up in these clutch moments and usually capitalizes.
So Zangardi digs in from the left side. Harris riding a 13-game on-base streak at second. Ganschow now at first. Zangardi at the plate against the righty Corbin. Pitch. Zangardi drives that one into right, but got under it. Drifting over Gallo. Now Thompson calls him off, and there's the third out of the inning. So Zangardi just underneath it in the inning. The Americans score no runs on 2 hits. No errors, and 2 runners left on base. See if Evan Core comes back out there, but a wasted opportunity for the Americans getting first and second with 2 outs.
Zangardi struck out his last time up, but it was an 8-pitch at bat. That time just liked what he saw and slide it into right field. Talked about he should be able to make something out of it. He would have liked if he taken a pitch after Corbin was sort of shaky in those 2 outs, getting 2 runners on. The Niagara Falls Americans like to thank Geico, the 3rd largest auto insurance provider in the United States, for its continued support. However you define Western New York, one thing is certain: drivers encounter a wide variety of road conditions. Whether it's slick, snowy roads, congestion on the New York State Thruway, or deer on scenic back roads, you want to make sure you have the right car insurance to ensure the safety of yourself, your passengers, and your vehicle. Head to geico.com to get a fast and free insurance quote to find the coverage that best fits your needs.
This season, you can connect with the Americans like never before with exclusive content on our social media platforms. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Our ats right there on the screen. So head to all 4 apps, click that follow button. A huge shout out to Sydney Ziemendorf, our social media manager, getting us right on all 4 platforms, creating all sorts of content. As Evan Core back on the mound for the Niagara Falls Americans in his 4th inning of work. Lerner now really getting loose in the pen. A sidearm guy. But Core so far just allowed 1 run in 3 innings.
It's really a much easier outing in that bottom of the 3rd after 2 innings where he had the bases loaded. 1 came around to score, so no runners left on base. Unlike those first 2 innings where 6 were. Looking for another good outing here. If he does go 4 innings, we'd like to end it with a 1-run lead, 1-run deficit, excuse me.
So here's Cooper Martin. 0 for 1 today. Flew out to right in his first at-bat. First pitch in there, called strike 1 from Evan Core. Pitch misses low. Here's the 1-1. Core gets it inside. Core, a really good pitch mix tonight. Trying to keep these Ironbacks hitters off balance. He's allowed 4 hits, but only 1 run. Quickly ahead, 1-2 here against the Ironbacks' 3rd baseman. Pitch. Martin flies it into center. Going back is Harris, and he makes the play. A deep fly out by Martin, but he is retired for the first out of the inning.
First baseman, Mateo.
Good outing there so far. Excuse me. Good at bat from Core there. Good work to a 1-2. Good spot. Just popped up into center. Big out number 1.
That'll bring up Mateo Sursta. Had a base hit in his first at bat. A right-handed pitcher / infielder, so a lefty hitter, righty pitcher. And that one misses low. For ball 1. Sursta out of Woodbridge, Ontario. The 6'4", 240-pound sophomore at Hudson University. Misses upstairs. Now 2-0, Core behind against Sursta.
Had a good game so far, 1 for 1. It's also made a lot of great picks at first base time to rob the Americans of a couple hits.
Pitch from Core. Curveball misses outside now. 3-0. Yeah, Sursta, a big body over there at first base. 6'4", a nice target to throw to. Core out of the windup. Here's the pitch. Outside corner, call a strike with the heater. So Core back into the count, now 3-1. Here's the 3-1. Misses with the curveball. A little bit of a miscommunication there with Snooze and Core. It looked like Core signaling with Snooze, who kind of looked like he wasn't expecting a curveball, so maybe a little cross-up between the battery members of the Americans.
Bring up Wes Thompson, who's 0 for 1, has a walk, but also struck out looking, the only looking strikeout from Core.
Core out of the stretch now. Sursta off first. Pitch inside, almost hits Thompson, gets by Snooze, who dropped it. Sursta moves up 90 feet. Kind of right off the glove of Snooze. Sursta now in scoring position. Count 1-0 against the leadoff hitter for the Ironbacks. Pitch. That one's fouled off on the left field line. Now evens the count at 1. Wes Thompson so far tonight 0 for 1. Struck out in the first, walked in the second. Not too long of a summer here for Wes Thompson. Only played 6 games. Here's the 1-1. Popped up in the infield. Gladfelter a couple steps back. He makes the play for the second out of the inning. So Evan Core looking to strand Sursta at second. He's gotten a couple big outs with guys in scoring position, coming especially being via the infield pop-up, which as an Ironbacks hitter you really can't do. You got to put the ball on the ground or by a defender.
I was going to say the exact same thing. A couple pop-outs to Marcotte at third, and that one also done on that third base line that Rowell was able to get. So a couple big pop-outs, as you mentioned, have really been the difference maker. But still not out of it yet. Runner still at second with 2 outs.
Peyton Panazzo. Core deals ball number 1. You wonder if this is it for Core, with Lerner starting to get loose last inning. Maybe last hitter or possible last inning. Not much of a pitcher, his first outing of the year on the mound. 1-0 count. Core checks Sursta at second, deals to Panazzo, who dribbles one to second. Gladfelter stays down on the high hop and makes the play over at first for the third out of the inning. So in the inning, the Ironbacks scored no runs on, no hits, no errors, and they leave 1 runner on base in Mateo Sursta. The Ironbacks still ahead 1-0 as we head to the top of the 5th. You're watching PGCBL baseball right here on the American Sports Network.
The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Bully Hill Vineyards for their support all season long. On the south end of gorgeous Keuka Lake, you can taste over 40 wines and enjoy food at a family-friendly winery open 7 days a week. Visit bullyhillvineyards.com to learn more about what they have to offer. A special thank you to Tropical Heating and Cooling for sponsoring the Americans this season. Locally owned and operated, Tropical Heating and Cooling provides expert installation, repair, and maintenance for home heating, cooling, and air quality systems. Call 716-870-0753 or head to tropicalheating.net to submit a service request and knock your heating and cooling needs out of the park. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank TLC Pet Food for their continued support. Specializing in nutrient-dense recipes, TLC Pet Food offers dog and cat food with fresh ingredients and added probiotics. Find the whole life dog and cat formulas for your furry friend at tlcpetfood.com.
So we're headed to the top of the 5th inning. Jaden Corpin back out there on the mound for the Ironbacks. Came on out of the bullpen and got 2 outs in relief of Carter Krawchuk, who went 3 1/3 in his first outing in the summer, allowed just 1 hit, no runs for the Ironbacks. Also had 3 strikeouts.
He looked pretty shaky, Tom, getting those 2 outs. The first one was pretty easy. Xander Clark grounding out, but the Harris single and then stealing second on a pretty close throw, and then Ganschow singling for that fly out by Sangardi. The Americans really could have gotten a runner over, but they didn't. But looking to see what Corbin could do in his second inning of work here as we're in that top of the fifth.
I was going to say, I don't think Krawchuk looked pretty shaky. He was about as smooth sailing as you can get. When I heard you say that, I wasn't sure if you mentioned Corbin or Krawchuk, but Krawchuk just dominated the Americans' offense. Really just allowed that one hit from Xander Clark that was an infield single, and he swung at the first pitch, so really excited to see what he's got for the rest of this summer, especially if you're an Ironbacks fan. Really promising to see. So here's Adam Weiss to lead things off. Flew out to right field on the first pitch of the at-bat his last time up. Now digs in. Coming off a strong year at Herkimer County Community College. Actually faced off against his former teammate last night in Luca Abel out of the bullpen for the Ironbacks. Pitch. Outside corner. Gets the call. Does Corbin for strike number one. Nobody warming in the Ironbacks bullpen, so looks like they're going to use Corbin for some length here. 0-1 count. Pitch to Weiss. Curveball outside corner just off the plate. Weiss batting .264 on the summer, but gets on base at a .466 clip. Count 1-1, nobody out in the inning. Pitch to Weiss, a fastball inside, misses, now 2-1.
It hasn't really been a while where we've seen a great walking game from Weiss. Certainly looking to do it here on the 2-1. His Americans still have not gotten a leadoff runner on base, currently 0 for 4.
Count is 2-1. Weiss in a good hitter's count. Pitch from Corbin. Weiss drills that one to left, going over his bush in, and he makes the play. Robs Weiss of a base hit. Head back to the dugout for the first out of the inning.
We've seen the Americans put the ball in play a lot of times, just right to the outfielder there. As during the bat, you thought that one might drop, but just easy play in left field for big out number one. So it brings up Tom Marcotte.
Second line out of the ball game for the Americans. Dave Harris, a line out back in the first to left field as well. So some action out there for Bushin so far tonight. Here's Tom Marcotte. Pitch to the righty, misses low and away for ball number one in the dirt. Got a feel for Weiss a little bit. Really smoked that ball just right at Bushin, who kind of shielded his eyes from the sun to make the play. Pitch to Marcotte. Misses inside. Now 2-0. So Marcotte quickly ahead in the count. Inning just 162 on the summer with 2 RBIs.
But he's had back-to-back hits in 2 straight games, Tom. Looking for a third here, but honestly wouldn't mind the walk either.
2-0 pitch to Marcotte in there. Call it strike with the fastball. So Corbin behind in the count, 2-1. Marcotte a strikeout in 4 of his last 5 games. Pitch. Marcotte drives that one into left, right at Bushin again, who will come on and make a last-ditch effort to haul in for the second out of the inning. So the Americans all over Jaden Corbin so far in his outing, but he's able to get some outs. That's baseball.
Yeah, a couple of great hits from Marcotte. A couple of great pieces of hitting from Marcotte. Just lined out again. A couple of quick outs. Certainly a much easier inning here. Still not out of it yet as it brings up Vincent Favada.
Here's Favada, grounded out to short his first time up, but made it a close play as he drives that one foul down the right field line for strike one. Starting to be like the first 2 games of this series. The Ironbacks leading now, though, compared to the Americans, who led in the first 6 innings of the first 2 games. Like we mentioned earlier, that first game they led 2-1 going into the 7th. The Americans led 1-0 going into the 6th last night as well. Count now 1-1 against Favada. The Ironbacks leading 1-0 here in the top of the 5th. Count is 1-1. Righty Corbin against the righty Favada. Corbin deals. Favada dribbles that one down the third baseline. Stopped by Martin. Throws across the diamond off the bag, and Favada beats it out for an infield single.
Unreal pick, though. We thought that one was going into left field. unreal stop just to throw a bit too much. As Favada has had a couple of those close plays at first. This time it goes his way. We've got a 2-out single here for Favada.
Yeah, wow. Cooper Martin, a full Superman diving stop at third as Tyson Gom will take a stroll to the mound and talk things over with Cooper Rowell coming up. Talk with Jaden Corpin. Looking back at that play, Cooper Martin, an unbelievable stop at third over there at the hot corner. Almost threw out Favada, but just couldn't quite do it. The Americans back on the road tomorrow and Friday. Tomorrow at Batavia. Friday, they'll travel to Newark to take on the Pilots. Then Saturday back at home at Sal Magley Stadium as they'll take on the Olean Oilers, who will come to Sal Magley Stadium in a matchup for the first time ever, just joining the league this year, coming over from the NYCBL. Rowell batting from the right side. Here's the pitch. 2 outs. Misses outside. Does Corpin. 1-0. So count is 1-0. Favada off of first. Corpin working out of the stretch to the righty Rowell. Checks on Favada. Deals. Rowell takes it for strike number 1. Count is even now at 1. Rowell 0 for 1 today, bounced to third in his first at-bat. Back in the third. We're now in the top of the 5th. Count is 1-1, 2 outs in the inning. Corpin from the right side, deals. Swung on and missed, strike 2, so Rowell quickly behind 1-2.
Corpin still looking for his first strikeout. Looking to have a big exclamation mark here with his strikeout over Rowell after the single from Favada.
So Rowell behind. Like you mentioned, looking to fight anything close here against Corpin. Favada off first. Corpin checks him, then deals. Outside corner, doesn't get the call. Just missed off the corner with a curveball. Really nice pitch from Corpin, but unable to land it.
Good take from Rowell. You thought where that pitch was thrown, you thought Ari's going to go out stealing, but worked it to a 2-2.
Favada not much of a lead off first. Rowell digs in from the right side. Pitch misses outside with the curveball, so that'll load the count full. We'll give Favada a head start at first. Give Rowell a chance to drive something into the outfield. Can tie this game up at 1 if Favada can hustle around and score.
Corpin hasn't given up a walk or a strikeout. Really gets a pick off there to Favada.
Corpin, a very reliable arm out of the bullpen all year for the Ironbacks. They've really used him a good amount. There's the pitch. 3-2. Rowell takes it in the dirt for ball 4. So the Americans have runners at first and second once again here with 2 outs.
Big spot for the Americans. Yeah, we talked about it both times with those 2 outs, getting those 2 outs earlier and then just really coming in to struggle. It's a big spot here for CJ Snooze, who we talked about, Tom, really batting under 100, looking for right at 100 with 111, only 2 RBIs and 1 hit. Certainly would love to get one here and tie this game up, Tom.
So Snooze at the plate. 0 for 1 today. First pitch from Corpin. In there with a changeup called strike 1. Americans will take on Olean on Saturday at Sal Magley Stadium. T-shirt giveaway night at the stadium, the barber shop. Count 0-1. Pitch from Corpin to Snooze. In there, called strike 2. Snooze quickly behind in the count.
Snooze had that ground out in that top of the third. The Americans went in order on that 3-1 ground out to third. Good pitch there. You really think trying to get the bat off your shoulders. Really can't strike out here.
Snooze behind 0-2. Runners at first and second, and Rowell and Favada. Corpin out of the stretch. Working to the righty. Snooze. Pitch. Chop back up the middle. Corpin fields. Throws on to first for the 3rd out of the inning. So in the inning, the Americans score no runs on 1 hit. No errors, and they leave 2 runners left on base. We're headed to the bottom of the 5th. The Ironbacks coming to bat here against the red, white, and blue.
The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank TLC Pet Food for their continued support. Specializing in nutrient-dense recipes, TLC Pet Food offers dog and cat food with fresh ingredients and added probiotics. Find the whole life dog and cat formulas for your furry friend at tlcpetfood.com. Sammy's Pizzeria has been family-owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and are the originators of the one-half tray of pizza. The Americans would like to thank Sammy's for sponsoring the team this season. Pick up all your favorites right across the street from Sal Magley Stadium at Sammy's Pizzeria. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Stalka Agency. Serving Western New York since 1957, Stalka Agency makes insurance simple through proactive planning and straightforward conversations. Call the local Stalka insurance team at 716-634-7070 to get a tailored insurance quote that's as precise as a pitcher painting the outside corner. Sammy's Pizzeria has been family-owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and are the originators of the one-half tray of pizza. The Americans would like to thank Sammy's for sponsoring the team this season. Pick up all your favorites right across the street from Sal Magley Stadium at Sammy's Pizzeria. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank McDonald's for being a sponsor of the team this year. With an extensive menu of well-known favorites, McDonald's is famous for its convenience. Especially during a long baseball season, McDonald's is the perfect place to grab a quick bite to eat and get right back to the ballpark. So head to your nearest McDonald's and enjoy all the classics. Sammy's Pizzeria has been family-owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and are the originators of the one-half tray of pizza. The Americans would like to thank Sammy's for sponsoring the team this season. Pick up all your favorites right across the street from Sal Magley Stadium at Sammy's Pizzeria.
Back here at George Taylor Field in St. Catharines, Ontario, the Ironbacks lead the Americans 1-0, and it's a new arm on the bump for the Niagara Falls Americans in Jackson Lerner out of Stratham, New Hampshire. Currently attends Clarkson University. Lerner now tied for the team high in appearances on the year. This will be his 11th.
Yeah, Tom, we saw he went 3 innings scoreless against Geneva. Really the only bright spot in that 10-0 loss. Certainly likes to have a good appearance here against Gallo, one of the best hitters of the PGCBO.
Tough task for Lerner coming in fresh out of the bullpen to face against Gallo. 0-0. Sweeper misses outside. Now 1-0. Lerner, a guy that features a sweeper and a sinker, really relies on that 2-pitch mix, but has had trouble this year being awful wild in some outings. Pitch, there's the sinker. Gets Gallo to swing on and miss for strike 1. The shadows in full effect here at George Taylor Field. You can see Lerner really squinting, but Gallo standing in the shade at home plate, so tough environment now. Pitch. Scott out the other way. A long run for Zangardi in left field, and he slides. He makes the play. Dom Zangardi. What a diving catch for the first out of the inning out in left field.
This is why you got to have this guy in the outfield. He does stuff like that. Long play down that left field line. Goes all the way for out number 1. Good stuff from Zangardi helping out Lerner.
Next up the bat, number 14.
We have a kid PA announcer next to us doing a good job here from the crowd. Special tradition the Ironbacks like to do here at George Taylor Field. Gallo makes the first out of the inning. Pitch from Lerner to Haas Fenwick, misses low for ball 1. Fenwick today 1 for 2 at a base hit back in the first. Was stranded at second. Pitch from Lerner outside, misses 2-0 with the 2-seamer. Lerner pitched on Sunday, like you mentioned, Ethan, in that game against the Red Wings, and actually went 3 scoreless. Looked real good in that game. Had 2 hit-by pitches, but still able to work around some guys on base and ended up giving up no runs. Pitch from Lerner to Fenwick, outside corner. Gets the call with the fastball. So count now 2-1. Lerner a 6.27 K per 9, which he's really struggled with striking out guys, getting them to 2 strikes. And that one's inside, so speaking of it, now 2-2 against Fenwick.
Yeah, but when he came in those 3 innings, only got 1 strikeout in 3 innings. Looking to do it here in 2/3 as he's got him in a 2-2.
Fenwick choking up on the barrel. Pitch. Skies that one down the third baseline, but it's going to drift out of play and land beyond the fence.
Goes in the Americans bullpen over there. Run out of room there for Marcotte. Another 2-2 count here for Lerner.
So Seth Morrison out into the Ironbacks bullpen, warming up after starting as the extra hitter this evening. Now going to head out and warm up, maybe a Shohei Ohtani type performance. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Lerner to Fenwick. Pitch. Fastball bounced the other way. Fielded by Gladfelter. Flips it and makes the play to beat Fenwick at first for the 2nd out of the inning. A nice play from Justin Gladfelter.
We've seen a lot of great plays from Gladfelter here. And honestly, I believe that's why he should be that everyday second baseman for a couple great plays, 2 quick outs.
So in steps Carter Shin, who's popped up to third base twice today. Tom Marcotte ready to go over there at the hot corner here with Shin at the plate. 2 outs in the inning. 2 quick ones from Lerner. And that one's popped up the other way. Weiss coming on, makes a nice running catch. So 3 up, 3 down for Jackson Lerner. And that's the 3rd pop out of the night for Carter Shin. He's 0 for 3. The Americans coming to bat here in the top of the 6th. They still trail the Ironbacks 1-0 here on the American Sports Network.
The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank TLC Pet Food for their continued support. Specializing in nutrient-dense recipes, TLC Pet Food offers dog and cat food with fresh ingredients and added probiotics. Find the whole life dog and cat formulas for your furry friend at tlcpetfood.com. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the ongoing support of Blaze Brockway Contracting. Family owned and operated for over 15 years, Blaze Brockway Contracting specializes in all aspects of remodeling and renovation. Call 607-259-7607 for all of your construction and home improvement needs. A special thank you to Tropical Heating and Cooling for sponsoring the Americans this season. Locally owned and operated, Tropical Heating and Cooling provides expert installation, repair, and maintenance for home heating, cooling, and air quality systems. Call 716-870-0753 or head to tropicalheating.net to submit a service request and knock your heating and cooling needs out of the park. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Coca-Cola for their support this season. Known for its refreshing bubbles and iconic flavor, Coca-Cola is the world's best-selling carbonated soft drink. Snag a Coke right here at the Sal Magley Stadium concession stand and make your game day even sweeter.
So the Ironbacks still lead the Americans 1-0 in a pitcher's duel. Carter Krawchuk starting on the mound, went 3 1/3 of no-run ball. Evan Core starting on the mound for the Americans. Actually went 4 scoreless. Then Jackson Lerner coming out of the bullpen for the Americans, firing a scoreless inning there. And now Jaden Corpin back out for his 3rd inning of work out of the bullpen for the Ironbacks.
Corpin's triple the amount of hits that Krawchuk had 3-1. Also has a walk. So has had 1st and 2nd on with 2 outs. Americans looking to start a rally here without having 2 outs started out. And they'll start with Justin Gladfelter 0 for 2 so far.
Pause out onto the field. Make sure the Americans have a first base coach. And they do, in Evan Shank. So Justin Gladfelter to lead things off for the Americans. Top of the order. He's 0 for 2 today. His first game across the border against the Ironbacks. Popped out to first in his first time up to lead off the game, then struck out against Krawchuk. Corpin out of the stretch. Reliever deals. Fastball in there. Called strike 1. Ahead in the count 0-1 against Gladfelter. Corpin ahead in the count 0-1. Gladfelter fooled again. Checks his swing. He went around, so now the count 0-2. Gladfelter behind 0-2. Pitch from Corpin. Fastball misses away. Now 1-2 to the Americans' second baseman.
Despite Gladfelter not playing a couple games, Americans still had the stolen bases. We've seen a couple from Harris. We've seen some from Ganschow as well. So it's not really only Gladfelter getting around those bases.
Fastball inside, just misses. Corpin couldn't get the call. That'll even the count up at 2-2. We mentioned Gladfelter's first game since July 4th, which is the longest stretch of days he's been without playing. Currently riding a 5-game hitting streak during that span. Here's the 2-2 from Corpin. Misses outside, now 3-2. Gladfelter not only riding a 5-game hitting streak coming into tonight, but an 11-game on-base streak. This guy finds any way on base that he can. Consistently hitting in the leadoff spot. Pitch chopped foul, and staying alive is Gladfelter.
Good pitch to foul off. Corpin's sort of been all over the place, throwing balls and strikes. Really like to get this leadoff guy on. The Americans still yet to do so, and more importantly, the guy who steals 20-plus bases.
So it'll be a full count pitch coming from Corpin to Gladfelter, who's struck out in 5 of his last 6 games. Here's the pitch. Fastball drilled into center. Thompson came in at first. Now will back up and make the catch. Gladfelter gave it a ride, but there's the first out of the inning.
Right fielder is Andrew Clark.
Gladfelter's put too much onto it in center field. Really feels like when he gets on base, Americans able to do well, but just 0-3 so far.
So Clark will dig in, batting from the left side against the righty Corpin. Again, these shadows really troubling out there on the diamond. A time where the lights aren't on yet, but kind of dark. Still light enough to go without the lights, though. Clark 1 for 2 today, an infield single back in the first, and grounded out to second his last time at the plate. Bounces that one foul for strike number 1. Clark on the year, just hitting 147. Here's the 0-1. Outside misses. Clark all the way from Chicago, Illinois. Plays his collegiate ball, though, at Fayetteville Tech Community College in North Carolina. So from Chicago to North Carolina to Niagara Falls, New York. Here's the 1-1 to Clark. Curveball in there, called strike 2. A nice spot from Corpin, landing a curveball in. Now 2 strikes against Clark.
Seems like all the pitchers today have thrown that curveball, and it's really froze a lot of the runners here. Clark only a few hits on this game so far for the Americans, looking to get on base once again.
1-2 to Clark. Swung and a miss, strike 3. Corpin able to get the curveball by Clark for the second out of the inning.
Second out of the inning is usually when the Americans thrive. This brings up David Harris, who already has a hit in this game. Looking to get another one here.
Harris just 6 strikeouts on the year, so not a guy that Ks a lot after the strikeout of Xander Clark. So it'll take a lot from Corpin to get Harris down on strikes. Harris 5 for his last 8 coming into this at-bat. Here's the first pitch. Outside corner with the fastball. Called a strike from Corpin. Now 0-1. Corpin quickly ahead of the Americans' most consistent hitter on the summer. Here's the 0-1. Misses in the dirt. A good take from Harris. Now 1-1. Harris goes to school in Clarkson University in Potsdam, New York. Famous for the cold temperatures, a lot of snow. Harris out of Essex, Vermont, so I'm sure he's dealt with plenty of snow before up there as well. Played in 29 games this year for Clarkson. Here's the 1-1 to Harris. Outside misses. Now 2-1. Corpin with the heater, just missed up and away.
Harris certainly drawn a lot of walks as well in this 2-1 count, tied with 3 other Americans for third in walks with 13, straight behind Gladfelter in second, over behind Adam Weiss.
So a good hitters count here for Harris. He's ahead 2-1. Pitch. That one's drilled to right center. It'll fall for a base hit. Harris is second of the game and 5th in the last 2 games.
It's just tough, but it feels like Harris always comes up when 2 outs have already been recorded as he'll reach safely as it brings up Matt Ganschow, who also has a hit as well. And had first and second, and Zangardi flew out. That was in that top of the 4th inning.
So Harris off first, a good threat to run. Ganschow at the plate. He's 1 for 2 today. Like you mentioned, had a single back in the 4th, but struck out looking against Krawchuk in the 1st. Corpin deals with the slide step, lands a heater in. 0-1 ahead of Ganschow. Ganschow, a guy that drives in the most runs this summer for the Americans, batting .339, also a .500 slugging percentage. Has a home run, albeit an inside the Parker. Pick off to first. Harris back diving.
It was an inside the Parker, Tom, but missed being an actual home run, I feel like, by about 6 inches. And I feel that was game 1. It was the game in Batavia, where the Americans fell 2-1. Only run came on that inside the Parker.
Yeah, Sal Magley Stadium deep to left field, just off the wall, but tied it up 1-1. A big swing on a Ganschow. Pitch outside, misses. Evens up the count at 1. Ganschow riding a 4-game on-base streak. Two walks in his last 3 games as well. Pitch to Ganschow. Chopped up the middle. A high hopper fielded by Panazzo at shortstop. Throws across the diamond. Not in time. And Ganschow an infield single.
What have we said, Tom? 2-out rallies. Once again, first and second. Zangardi flew out on the first pitch into center, looking to take a pitch here for release against Corpin, or if not, find a good one and tie this game up, if not maybe more.
So a little defensive switch up for the Ironbacks as Panazzo and Shin switched in the middle. Panazzo now at shortstop, Shin at second. Maybe giving both players experience at either side. Pitch to Zangardi, popped up behind home, heading towards the press box, and it lands in foul ground for strike 1. A big at-bat here for Dom Zangardi, who did have a triple back in the first game of this series right here at George Taylor Field.
Yeah, it was a huge triple in that game 1. And once again, swung at the first pitch. Lucky that one just barely went out of play, just over the netting behind home plate. Looking to try and get enough on one again. Really's got to put this ball in play.
It'll take a base hit to score Harris from second with 2 outs in the inning. Corpin ahead in the count 0-1 against Zangardi. Here's the pitch. Zangardi hits a short, fielded by Panazzo. He'll go the short way and beat Ganschow to the bag for the 3rd out of the inning. So a close play at second, but a nice job by Panazzo to scoot to the bag and beat Ganschow. In the inning, the Americans score no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and they leave 2 men left on base. Zangardi, tough job again at the plate after getting it out with first and second with 2 outs.
Just right at Panazzo there. Could have been an easier play for him. We saw them switch shortstop and second. Obviously, either player could have made that play, but just tough. A little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. Probably could have gotten through, but nothing really needed. Just right up the middle. Americans first and second again. Just can't do it.
So the Ironbacks come to bat here in the bottom of the 6th against Jackson Lerner. You're watching PGCBL Baseball on the American Sports Network.
The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Coca-Cola for their support this season. Known for its refreshing bubbles and iconic flavor, Coca-Cola is the world's best-selling carbonated soft drink. Snag a Coke right here at the Sal Magley Stadium concession stand and make your game day even sweeter. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank McDonald's for being a sponsor of the team this year. With an extensive menu of well-known favorites, McDonald's is famous for its convenience. Especially during a long baseball season, McDonald's is the perfect place to grab a quick bite to eat and get right back to the ballpark. So head to your nearest McDonald's and enjoy all the classics. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Greater Together Credit Union. Greater Together Credit Union provides personalized banking, loans, mortgages, and savings accounts for anyone living, working, or attending school in Erie or Niagara counties. For more information, current rates, or to apply for membership, visit greatertogethercu.com.
So here's Hank Vandermeer against Jackson Lerner. 1-0 the Ironbacks lead in the bottom of the 6th here at George Taylor Field. First pitch from Lerner, a curveball in there, called strike 1. More of a sweeper. Lerner features that pitch, often going to it a lot, even to lead off counts when he's behind in the count. A lot of trust in that off-speed pitch from Jackson Lerner. Here's the 0-1. Another curveball. Vandermeer drives it down the right field line, but it's going to drift foul and land on the warning track in foul ground.
We've seen him put a lot on that ball. That double he's had hit at that warning track. You think if he's running out of the batter's box, maybe he'd be able to get a triple as he thought it was gone.
Bottom of the 6th. Pitch from Lerner misses outside. Now 1-2. Lerner looks a lot more comfortable than these last couple outings we've seen. Last week, Tuesday. That one's chopped back up the middle. Rowles can't see it with the sun, and there's a base hit for Hank Vandermeer. And he's able to reach here with nobody out in the bottom of the 6th.
Would have been a tough play for Rowell regardless. Just didn't see. You can see is that lone shadow as the leadoff runner reaches again. Americans 0 for 6 leadoff now. 2 for 6 are the Ironbacks. Vandermeer reached Civic.
So Vandermeer off first. Nobody out in the inning. Pitch from Lerner, a sweeper outside corner called a strike to the pinch hitter for the Ironbacks and Kieran Cutler. Cutler in the box, pinch hitting for Seth Morrison. Pitch, that one's drilled to the left. Zangardi going back towards the track. He flips his hips, he won't get it. It's over his head. Vandermeer around second, he's headed for third. He'll get the stop sign. And Cutler, a pinch hit double. Vandermeer at third, so second and third. The Ironbacks set up second and third. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th.
Morrison was 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Really hadn't done much, so they opt to bring in Cutler, and he just laces that one. Cutler, a 264 hitter, had 3 doubles, now makes it 4. Now second and third here with no out. Talked about Lerner having that great bottom of the 6th, now struggling here.
I consistently say that, but one of the tougher things to do in all of sports, coming in off the bench, as that one's fouled off by Bushin, coming off the bench and have a at-bat, especially like that one, a double for Cutler. The Americans have the infield in, looking to go all out at home plate. Pitch to Bushin, outside corner, called a strike. Good spot from Lerner. Makes it an 0-2 count.
Bushin's already recorded a walk, also had a ground out. And we're looking for a quick strikeout here. Runners at second and third.
Here's the pitch. Sweeper chopped down the first baseline, but foul. Staying at 0-2. Lerner at 0-2 here against the lefty Bushin. Pitch. Outside, misses, now 1-2. Americans infield in, which they're in the full shade, so don't have to worry about the sun anymore. Pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Jackson Lerner, a big K, sends Bushin back to the dugout for the first out of the inning. now will face off against the 9-hitter in Cooper Martin.
You got the 9 and the 10 hitter, so certainly the guys Lerner has to face it. After giving up that double, have runners at second and third, strikes him out on 4 pitches, all of them being strikes. Martin 0 for 2, and then brings up Sersta. He's 1 for 2.
Lerner out of the stretch to Martin. He deals the sweeper. Martin offers, but doesn't fully go around. Yeah, you wonder with Sersta on deck, the 10-hitter, do you walk Martin to load the bases and allow there to be a force out at any bag? But Sersta got a hit today, also a walk, so had a good day so far. Don't really want him coming up with the bases loaded as Martin swings and misses. That's strike number 1.
Yeah, we've also seen Lerner's tendency to hit batters, so if you get the bases loaded, you really don't want to let them get a runner in just because of that issue.
Also the walks. Lerner issues a lot of walks, so you don't want that to happen with the bases loaded either. Lerner out of the stretch, deals to Martin. Outside misses with the sweeper. Now 2-1, albeit Lerner looking a lot better with the command so far tonight.
Obviously only 1 1/3 so far, but yeah, as you mentioned, hasn't given up walk, but I'd say the hit by pitch is a bigger tendency. You don't want to walk in a run. I think that's a bigger issue than the force out.
So second and third, the Ironbacks lead 1-0. Pitch to Martin, fouled straight back with the 2-seamer, so Lerner now makes it 2-2 here against Cooper Martin.
Martin's second on this team in strikeouts after Cutler, who had that double earlier, so certainly someone with a tendency to strike out, try to at least put this ball in play.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Lerner to Martin, pitch. Swing and miss, strike 3. Lerner 1 out away from getting out of a second and third jam here against the Ironbacks. He gets Cooper Martin to chase on a high fastball. So 2 outs now in the inning.
First baseman number 72, Mateo Sersta.
I get what you were saying, Tom, about that potential walking him, but then you bring up Wes Thompson, who albeit doesn't have a hit yet, but still somebody who's done well. And if you're looking at their averages, Wes Thompson's batting 409, Sersta's batting 200. So, I mean, you just got to look at the average there.
Pitch to Sersta, swung on a miss, strike 1 with a changeup from Lerner. Sersta batting from the left side. He's 1 for 1 today, a single and a walk. Singled back in the second inning, walked in the fourth. Lerner out of the stretch ahead in the count 0-1. 2 outs now in the inning. Second and third for the Ironbacks. Pitch to Sersta. Fouled off on the first baseline. Lerner 1 strike away from getting out of a huge jam. Interesting to see what they go with here, whether it's that sweeper down and into a lefty in Sersta or a 2-seamer changeup action down and away to Sersta. Both of those options here, but most likely this is going to be something not very close to the zone.
Just got to be careful on that wild pitch, potential wild for Mr. Lerner. If he wants to go to that outside pitch, just can't lay it too outside and get that run coming that way.
Your balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Pitch hit right back up the middle and through for a base hit. 1 run is in Vandermeer. Here comes the other in Cutler, and he scores a big 2-out, 2-run single for Mateo Sersta, who stuck out the barrel and is able to score 2 runs on 1 single, making it a 3-0 ball game.
Thought for a second, Tom, that Lerner was going to get the glove on it there as it was right up the middle, but no dice. Sersta only had 4 RBIs in his 16 games. All able to double it here, now able to move it up to 6. That's a huge 2-run single.
That one really stings if you're an Americans fan. A huge hit for Sersta. Pitch from Lerner, and he drills Thompson here in the bottom of the 6th.
We talked about those hit by pitches, Tom, but I still think you shouldn't have walked Sersta. He would have walked him in there, but now first and second, again, 2 runners on once again here as he's brought himself back into a jam as Panazzo came around to score on that walk he had, but is still yet to put the ball in play.
That's Lerner's 21st hit by pitch on the year, which leads the team by a very large margin. The next highest, Vincent Favada, who's got 6, only 6 innings on the year for Favada. Here's Peyton Panazzo, first and second, 2 outs. Pitch from Lerner, inside corner. It's a called strike. 0-1. So the Ironbacks now lead 3-0. Pitch from Lerner in there, called strike.
Another quick 0-2 like he had to Sersta, just finding that payoff pitch. Just laid that one too much over the middle for him to get it. That 2-run single, it seems like it could happen here if it's hit far enough.
Yeah, if you're Lerner, that really stinks, being up 0-2 and giving up a hit like that. Pitch to Panazzo, chop to the right side, going to be a tough play. Weiss fields, flips to Lerner, and makes the third out of the inning as Lerner steps on the bag to beat Panazzo. But in the inning, the Ironbacks scored 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and they leave 2 runners on base. The Ironbacks now lead the Americans 3-0, a big inning for Niagara.
Americans need to get a runner to lead off. 0 for 6 leadoff is unacceptable, and you just got to get runners on before 2 outs, Tom. That's really been the Americans' kryptonite, is just getting those runners on, but not just allowing it out, especially ones where they're fly balls that the runners could come in to score if they're at third base, but they can't after 2 outs.
So the Americans come to bat here in the top of the 7th, once again against Jaden Corpin. You're watching PGCBL Baseball on the American Sports Network.
The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Greater Together Credit Union. Greater Together Credit Union provides personalized banking, loans, mortgages, and savings accounts for anyone living, working, or attending school in Erie or Niagara counties. For more information, current rates, or to apply for membership, visit greatertogethercu.com. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Stalka Agency. Serving Western New York since 1957, Stalka Agency makes insurance simple through proactive planning and straightforward conversations. Call the local Stalka insurance team at 716-634-7070 to get a tailored insurance quote that's as precise as a pitcher painting the outside corner. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the ongoing support of Blaze Brockway Contracting. Family owned and operated for over 15 years, Blaze Brockway Contracting specializes in all aspects of remodeling and renovation. Call 607-259-7607 for all of your construction and home improvement needs. The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Greater Together Credit Union. Greater Together Credit Union provides personalized banking, loans, mortgages, and savings accounts for anyone living, working, or attending school in Erie or Niagara counties. For more information, current rates, or to apply for membership, visit greatertogethercu.com.
Back here in the top of the 7th as George Taylor Field as the lights are coming on. Full field in the shadows now. 3-0 the Ironbacks lead. First pitch to Adam Weiss. Just misses low for ball 1.
Weiss 0 for 2 so far in this game. Like to get that trademark walk to get on safely and get that lead-off runner on. Take a ball upstairs for ball 1.
6 hits apiece for either ball club as that one's in there. Called strike with the curveball from Corpin. Corpin came in back in the 4th inning in relief of Carter Krawchuk and has put up a couple zeros since coming in. Count 1-1 against Adam Weiss, the Americans' first baseman. Pitch inside, misses. Now 2-1. Weiss batting for the right side, a closed stance. Looking to hit the ball the other way with power. Here's the 2-1, drives that one to right center. Going back is Wes Thompson, and he makes the play. Weiss is retired. Got a feel for Weiss a little bit. That's his second out to center field, hitting the ball hard tonight.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he's flooded out to right and center. It's a tough game for Weiss. Certainly put the ball in play, just right really that fielder. Americans still get to get a leadoff runner on.
Here's Thomas Marcotte digging in from the right side. He's 0 for 2 today, playing third base this evening for the Americans. 1 out in the inning. Pitch to Marcotte in there with a curveball. Nice one from Corpin. Strike 1. Marcotte out of New Bedford, Mass. Going to play next year at Rhode Island College after a couple years at Southern Maine Community College. 0-1 in there, called strike. 0-2, Corpin quickly ahead. After, like we mentioned, 2 outings against the Americans earlier this year and gave up a combined 5 runs in those 2 outings.
Let's talk about he didn't get a strikeout. Already has one so far.
0-2 misses with the curveball. This time, Marcotte lays it off. Marcotte behind 1-2 here against the righty Corpin. 3-0 the Ironbacks lead. Pitch popped fouled on the first baseline. Out of play. Some action going on in the Ironbacks bullpen. A couple guys getting up and loose. 2 righties. 1 throwing is Owen Newman. Here's the 2-2. Just misses up high. That'll load the count full.
Marcotte, a guy who doesn't walk often. 11 strikeouts to only 1 walk. Be huge to get it here.
3-2 count. Pitch. Fastball bounced up the middle, ranging over. Panazzo makes the play on to first. A wild throw. And Marcotte will reach on the E6 as Sursta couldn't apply the tag.
I think a routine play for Panazzo, just threw it off the line for Sursta. No chance to get the flip tag. Saw Weiss do that earlier, so off runner reach, 1 out, runner reaches for the first time in a physical while, Tom.
So here's Vincent Favada. Batting from the right side. He's 1 for 2, excuse me. 1 for 2 today for Favada. Had an infield single his last time up. Corpin checks on Marcotte over at first. Favada, a couple ground balls tonight. The Ironbacks looking for another one of those. Pitch, a curveball, misses upstairs for ball 1. Corpin pitched this past year at Erie Community College. From Ajax, Ontario. Behind in the count 1-0 here against Favada, who's got a homer on the year. Pitch, outside misses, now 2-0. Corpin this past year at ECC, 15 appearances, started 6 games, went 2 for 2. 2 and 2, excuse me. 41 earned runs in 43 innings pitched. An 8.58 ERA. Marcotte fakes the steal. That one's bounced up the middle. Panazzo flips on to second for 1. On to first. Favada beats it out. So it's a 6-4 fielder's choice. Good hustle from Vinny Favada to beat out the double play.
Always feels like when he's hitting, it feels like the play he's going to make, it's either close. Same thing there, able to get in safely to prevent the double play, not end the inning, as it'll bring up Rowell.
So Rowell today 0 for 1 with a walk. Tough play for Rowell in the field. Last inning was kind of blocked by the sun. Couldn't field a ground ball as Favada dives back in at first. Rowell gives that one a ride into left center. Coming over is Bushin, and he hauls it in for the 3rd out of the inning. So Rowell hits it pretty well, but is retired to end the top half of the 7th. So just 6 outs left for the Americans against the Ironbacks, who lead 3-0. You're watching PGCBL Baseball on the American Sports Network.
The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Greater Together Credit Union. Greater Together Credit Union provides personalized banking, loans, mortgages, and savings accounts for anyone living, working, or attending school in Erie or Niagara counties. For more information, current rates, or to apply for membership, visit greatertogethercu.com. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank McDonald's for being a sponsor of the team this year. With an extensive menu of well-known favorites, McDonald's is famous for its convenience. Especially during a long baseball season, McDonald's is the perfect place to grab a quick bite to eat and get right back to the ballpark. So head to your nearest McDonald's and enjoy all the classics.
Back here at George Taylor Field, the Ironbacks lead the Americans 3-0. 6 hits for either squad, an error for the Ironbacks. No errors for the Americans. Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Laborers Local 91 for their generous support this season. Laborers Local 91 provides highly trained workers for heavy construction, environmental remediation, and infrastructure projects, while also offering apprenticeships and health and safety training. Since 1935, Laborers Local 91 has been proudly building the infrastructure, economy, and communities of the Niagara Frontier. Call Laborers Local 91 at 716-297-6441 to apply for a career as a skilled construction craft laborer. So Jackson Lerner back out there. Now the bottom half of the 7th. He'll face off against Jordan Gallo to lead things off for the Ironbacks.
Leading off the 7th for the Ironbacks, right fielder Jordan Gallo.
Gallo digging in for the Ironbacks. He's 1 for 3 today. An infield single back in the 1st. A ground out in the 2nd and a fly out in the 5th. Lerner deals to Gallo outside. Gets the call with the sweeper. Ahead 0-1 here against Gallo.
Lerner will take it. Be a little bit outside.
Yeah, gets the call. Able to start the sweeper working from behind here against Gallo. Pitch. Misses upstairs with the fastball. Couldn't get that call.
Yeah, but I'm able to make up a lot of that. Sweeper outside, he called a strike.
Lerner out of the stretch with nobody on base. The Americans playing Gallo to pull, which he does. Lines that one into right center. It'll fall for a base hit. Harris Fields gets it in quickly, and Gallo on here in the bottom of the 7th for the Ironbacks.
Ironbacks catcher number 14, Fenwick.
Here's Haas Fenwick, cleanup hitter tonight for the Ironbacks. Americans playing up the middle, looking to turn 2 on a ground ball. Gallo off first. Pitch. Fenwick squares around a bunt, but pulls back. It's a ball. 1-0. Marcotte in at the grass at third, just on the edge of the infield grass. Pitch to Fenwick. Not bunting this time. This one down the first baseline, but foul. Past the lunging Adam Weiss over at first. One ball, one strike, nobody out in the inning. Ironbacks lead the Americans 3-0. Jackson Lerner on the mound. Haas Fenwick at the plate. Lerner deals from the stretch. Upstairs, misses, now 2-1.
Interesting we saw Fenwick show bunt. I mean, the guy's batting .389, already has a hit today. Much like we saw, maybe Marcotte wasn't in as he liked.
Fenwick gives that one a ride way up high down the right field line. Clark coming in. He makes the play for the first out of the inning. Long run for Xander Clark, but able to haul it in.
After that, maybe you would have wished you had bunted.
We'll bring up Carter Shin, who's popped out 3 times tonight. 2 to third, 1 to first. Really struggled tonight after having a really good last couple games. Lerner looking for a ground ball, just 1 pitch away from getting out of the inning. Pitch to Shin, misses inside for ball number 1. So Shin coming into tonight was 5 for his last 9 with 3 RBIs in 2 games against the Americans. Now 0 for 3 tonight. Fastball just misses low, now 2-0. Lerner just missing by a couple inches on these last 2 pitches. Lerner out of the stretch, checks Fenwick at first, deals. Sweeper off the plate, now 3-0.
Lerner still yet to throw a walk, certainly in jeopardy of doing so now on the 3-0 to Shin.
So time called on the field as Gallo gets the batting glove off the infield dirt. Count is 3-0. See if Shin has the green light. Here in the bottom of the 7th, pitch. Outside corner, called a strike with the 2-seamer. Now 3-1. So Lerner working on the mound with the high socks for the Americans. Here's the 3-1. Chopped to the right side and through for a base hit. Clark will field, get the ball in. Fired at third, and Marcotte plays it on a hop. The Ironbacks have first and second after 2 singles in the inning. One from Gallo and one from Carter Shin.
Doesn't give up a walk, but gives up another hit. Hit number 5 for Lerner coming in relief. That's one more than Core did in 4 innings. With a 2 1/3 from Lerner.
So Shin now 6 hits in the 3 games against the Americans. After just 2 hits in his previous 8 games. So Shin really starting to figure it out at the plate after having a broken wrist, then coming back. He's 1 for 4 tonight. Some more action in the Ironbacks bullpen. Still the 6'3", 230-pound sophomore at Connor State, Owen Newman getting loose out of Mississauga, Ontario. And in steps Hank Vandermeer, who's having himself a day, 2 for 2 with a walk, as the designated hitter tonight. First and second, 1 out. Lerner out of the stretch, deals. Rip to the right side. What a pick by Weiss. He'll get 1 out at first. An unbelievable pick there by Adam Weiss down the first baseline to rob Hank Vandermeer of extra bases. Now 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th.
Why is the reason this isn't a 5-0 ball game right now? That one absolutely sliced down that first baseline. Another great play from Weiss. Still hasn't made an error yet on the year, and it's for plays like that. Runners do move over to second and third, and that was a big second out. Lerner's still not out of it yet.
What a play from Weiss. That robs Vandermeer of extra bases and RBIs. Pitch to Cutler is fouled off down the right field line for strike 1.
Cutler earlier in this game had that double when he came in, the pinch hit. I believe that was 2 innings ago. That was last inning. And that next pitch came around to score on that 2-run double.
Count 0-1, 2 outs in the inning. Second and third. Pitch to Cutler. Inside, almost hits him. Cutler letting it hit him if it did. Just kind of stood there and watched it. Count 1-1, 2 outs here in the inning. Lerner out of the stretch. Deals to Cutler. Skied foul down the right field line. Now 1-2. Lerner looking to get out of yet another jam after he's just surrendered 2 runs in now 2 2/3 innings.
Cutler maybe wishing that one had hit him. 4 hit by pitches on the year. It's tied for most on the team and would have loaded the bases, but still has to put something on this one.
Pitch from Lerner. Line down the third baseline, but foul. Cutler way out in front of a sweeper from Lerner.
There's a play down the line. No chance for Marcotte to pick that one. Lerner already gave up that 2-run double earlier, trying to keep these runners stranded.
Ironbacks lead the Americans 3-0. 3-8-1 for Niagara versus 0-6-0 for Niagara Falls. Americans 3 errors last night really hurt them to lose that game 9-4. Lerner out of the stretch. Here's the 1-2 to Cutler. Sweeper checks his swing. Did he go around? No, he did not. Now 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. We're now in the bottom of the 7th here at George Taylor Field. Lerner against Cutler. Here's the pitch. Sweeper outside. Misses. Good take from Cutler. Able to lay off a couple really good pitches from Lerner with 2 strikes, getting it to full.
Just got to be careful with Lerner. Phillies, he's had these 2-strike counts. He's left it a little bit too much over the plate.
Pitch from Lerner. Fastball just misses above the zone. That'll load the bases.
Loads the bases, gives up his first walk. So he brings up Bushin, who's 0 for 2, walked once, but also struck out and grounded out. Humongous spot for him.
So bases are now loaded. Josh Bushin at the plate, batting from the left side. Here's the pitch. Misses with the changeup. Now 1-0. Lerner behind the count 1-0 here against Bushin. Pitch. Skied foul down the left field line for the first strike of the at-bat. Lerner's working ahead in the count, does a lot better of a job when behind. Obviously, most pitchers do, but Lerner especially not hitting guys, working really a lot better ahead in the count. Pitch. That one's skied out into shallow center. Rowell drifting out. Gladfelter 2. Rowell spins around. He can't make the play. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. And the ball is thrown in. 2-run score on a lifted single to shallow center. And the rich get richer. The Ironbacks now lead 5-0.
Just felt like no one really knew who was going to call that one. Rowell called it late. In his first game as shortstop, lets it drop, and then a heads-up play as he gets into second because no one covering it with the outfielders and Rowell there. 2 pops on, runners stay back at second and third.
Pitch swung on a miss, strike 1 from Cooper Martin. Yeah, Gladfelter chasing out from second. And Rowell chasing out from short. Harris playing deep in center, so you can't really blame him for running on. Just couldn't get there. Something you got to look at, though, Gladfelter, Rowell not having any communication of who's going to hold back and cover second. Usually that's something that Gladfelter does at second base with the ball on the left side of second. Definitely more of a Rowell play. So because Gladfelter running out into shallow center, now Cutler able to get to second. He's scoring on a base hit. This Lerner misses up and in. It's now 2-1.
It also doesn't help, Tom, that Gladfelter has played second in a while, and usually it's really dependent who he's had at short. Doesn't really have like usual guy. Usually it's Savino. You think if it's Savino and Gladfelter, they make that better communication. Also, Rowell doesn't usually play third. I mean, he usually doesn't play short, so usually not in that part of the field as well.
Count 2-1 here against Martin. That one gets by Snooze. And the runner will come around to score in Kieran Cutler, making this one a 6-0 ball game.
Lerner's done his trademark hit by pitch. Also, another wild pitch number 4. Another runner comes in. We thought Tommy's going to get out of it, but that crooked 3 here feels like this game is just getting more and more out of reach.
Pitch to Martin, fastball outside corner, called a strike. Now 3-2. Lerner gets it to full. So Lerner out of the stretch. 3-2, 2 outs in the inning. Pitch to Martin, a fastball fouled off at home off of Martin. Now 3-2 once again. Really tough play for Rowell to have to make to go out there and shag down a ball from the shortstop position after flipping his hips, something he's not used to doing at that position as well. Pitch, bounce back up the middle. Played on the backhand by Gladfelter off his glove. That'll trickle into left center. It'll keep Martin at first, but a run scores in Josh Bushin, and now this one blown open, 7-0, the Ironbacks lead.
Just a couple of near outs. This is now a 7-0 ball game.
Now the Ironbacks have scored 4 runs in the inning, and Will Cordero will take Jackson Lerner out and call in the bullpen here in the bottom of the 7th. You're watching PGCBL Baseball on the Americans Sports Network.
Sammy's Pizzeria has been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and are the originators of the 1/2 tray of pizza. The Americans would like to thank Sammy's for sponsoring the team this season. Pick up all your favorites right across the street from Sal Magley Stadium at Sammy's Pizzeria. A special thank you to Tropical Heating and Cooling for sponsoring the Americans this season. Locally owned and operated, Tropical Heating and Cooling provides expert installation, repair, and maintenance for home heating, cooling, and air quality systems. Call 716-870-0753 or head to tropicalheating.net to submit a service request and knock your heating and cooling needs out of the park. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank McDonald's for being a sponsor of the team this year. With an extensive menu of well-known favorites, McDonald's is famous for its convenience. Especially during a long baseball season, McDonald's is the perfect place to grab a quick bite to eat and get right back to the ballpark. So head to your nearest McDonald's and enjoy all the classics. The Niagara Falls Americans thank Casella Waste Systems for their continued support. Casella offers sustainable waste management and garbage pickup right here in Niagara Falls. As an environmental service provider, Casella manages and transforms society's waste into new resources. Call 716-637-4843 to get a price quote on garbage pickup. Sammy's Pizzeria has been family owned and operated for 3 generations since 1962 and are the originators of the 1/2 tray of pizza. The Americans would like to thank Sammy's for sponsoring the team this season. Pick up all your favorites right across the street from Sal Magley Stadium at Sammy's Pizzeria. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank TLC Pet Food for their continued support. Specializing in nutrient-dense recipes, TLC Pet Food offers dog and cat food with fresh ingredients and added probiotics. Find the whole life dog and cat formulas for your furry friend at tlcpetfood.com.
New pitcher for the Niagara Falls Americans is Adam Weiss, coming off of first base, now on the mound, and coming on to play first base is Evan Shank off the bench. Weiss will make his 3rd appearance on the mound, first one since July 3rd at Auburn, where he only went 1 inning, allowed 8 runs on 6 hits. 6 of those runs were earned. His first outing started in Game 1 of a doubleheader against the Elmira Pioneers back on June 28th. In that game, he allowed 5 runs on 4 hits, so 2 outings for Adam Weiss this year. He's allowed 13 runs. Now we'll face off against the lefty Mateo Sursta. Martin on first. There he goes for second. That pitch is skied out to right. Clark back, Harris over. Clark will make the play for the 3rd out of the inning. So Adam Weiss comes on, throws 1 pitch, and gets out of the inning. The Americans come to bat here in the top of the 8th. They only got 6 outs left, and now they're down 7-0.
Might lower his ERA like a smidge, Tom.
Yeah, gets 1 out. Adam Weiss able to do his job here in the bottom of the 7th.
A special thank you to Greater Together Credit Union for sponsoring the Niagara Falls Americans. Greater Together Credit Union offers personalized banking services, loans, mortgages, and savings accounts to anyone who lives, works, or attends school in Erie or Niagara counties. For more information, current rates, or to apply for membership, visit GreaterTogetherCU.com or stop by one of their 2 Western New York locations, 2901 Military Road in Niagara Falls or 160 Ward Road in North Tonawanda, where you'll find support for your banking needs.
Also, a huge thank you to Hyde Park Elementary for supporting the Niagara Falls Americans, placing a strong emphasis on community involvement and family engagement. The school is dedicated to creating an inclusive and safe learning environment. Hyde Park Elementary's commitment to education is helping to build the future of Western New York, and we thank the Niagara Falls Americans. Thank them for their support. So it's a new pitcher coming on for the Ironbacks. Owen Newman out of Mississauga, Ontario, a righty, 6'3", 230 pounds, committed to Connors State in Warner, Oklahoma. Now going to be at the University of Waterloo, actually, for 2027. Played for the Guelph Royals Inter-County Baseball League team. was ranked the 47th best pitcher in his high school class in Ontario. Didn't play out of high school in 25. Committed to Connors State to pitch in 2026. But didn't pitch, and now will attend the University of Waterloo in 2027. Has an arm on the mound for them.
Newman's last time he pitched came in that 8-2 loss to Auburn. Game 1 of that doubleheader. Went 2 innings, gave up 2 hits and 2 runs. Both were earned. Also had 2 strikeouts. Fifth appearance here. He has started a game, but 0-1 on the year. So only went 7 2/3. Probably trusting this guy to get those final 6 outs on him.
So 7-0, the Ironbacks lead after pouring on 6 in the 6th and the 7th innings. Similar to, like we mentioned, all games, similar to the first 2 games of this drawn up 3-game set against the Ironbacks. I mean, the Americans held the lead in the first 2 games and had that lead stolen from them. Now it's the other way around. That one inside, called strike to CJ Snooze. Other way around, I mean, the Ironbacks leading for the majority of the game and not surrendering the lead have the Americans had in the first 2 games. That one lined back up the middle, off the glove of Newman. Barehand play on to first. Carter Shin. What a play. A barehanded out made by the Ironbacks second baseman, and CJ Snooze will head back to the dugout for the first out of the inning.
It was just a slow roller for Snooze.
Second baseman, number 27, Justin Gladfelter.
So hits off the glove there. It's a little 1-4-3. Just slow charging. You feel like Snooze just been a little bit faster. He gets out there, or he gets on safely. Americans now 0 for 8 on the leadoff. This will bring up David Harris, really the only bright spot for this team.
So here's Justin Gladfelter. David Harris led off the past 2 games, which has you in a pretzel a little bit. I get it. Gladfelter back in that leadoff spot today. Here's the 1-0. Misses outside from Newman. Ball 2. Gladfelter coming up to the plate with no batting gloves. Running the new routine out there now after an 0 for 3 start.
See if it can work out for him.
Behind in the count 2-0, 1 out in the inning. Newman deals. Chop to the left side. Martin Fields on the high hop. Go across the diamond. Gets Gladfelter by about a step for the second out of the inning.
Guess new traditions die fast, Tom. We'll see if he goes back to the batting gloves plays tomorrow. 2 quick outs here for Newman. That's to bring up Sander Clark.
So Clark stepping to the plate, 1 for 3 today. Struck out his last time swinging against Corpin. Corpin now out, Newman now in. Pitch outside, misses, now 1-0. So the Americans in danger of losing now 8 in a row, and they'll have to face off against the first place Batavia Muck Dogs tomorrow. Pitch fouled off behind home, now 1-1 to Xander Clark. Count even at 1, 2 outs in the inning. Xander Clark batting from the left side against the righty Newman. Pitch. That one popped up into shallow center. Coming on Wes Thompson. He makes the 3rd out of the inning. So the Americans now down to their final 3 outs. There's some more action going on in the Ironbacks bullpen as Richard Griffin shakes the hand of Owen Newman, says, good job. Looks like his night is done. And Griffin will call on somebody new for the top of the 9th. Adam Weiss will head out for the bottom of the 8th here for the Americans. They trail 7-0. The Ironbacks coming to bat here at George Taylor Field.
The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank TLC Pet Food for their continued support. Specializing in nutrient-dense recipes, TLC Pet Food offers dog and cat food with fresh ingredients and added probiotics. Find the whole life dog and cat formulas for your furry friend at tlcpetfood.com. A special thank you to Tropical Heating and Cooling for sponsoring the Americans this season. Locally owned and operated, Tropical Heating and Cooling provides expert installation, repair, and maintenance for home heating, cooling, and air quality systems. Call 716-870-0753 or head to tropicalheating.net to submit a service request and knock your heating and cooling needs out of the park. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank TLC Pet Food for their continued support. Specializing in nutrient-dense recipes, TLC Pet Food offers dog and cat food with fresh ingredients and added probiotics. Find the whole life dog and cat formulas for your furry friend at tlcpetfood.com. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank Bully Hill Vineyards for their support all season long. On the south end of gorgeous Keuka Lake, you can taste over 40 wines and enjoy food at a family-friendly winery open 7 days a week. Visit bullyhillvineyards.com to learn more about what they have to offer.
Now we head to the bottom of the 8th. Adam Weiss back out there on the hill for the Americans.
Center fielder, number 19, Wes Thompson.
Wes Thompson to lead things off now for the Ironbacks, the top of the order. The Americans come back here across the border one more time late in July against the Ironbacks. This is the 8th time these teams have met this year. The Ironbacks lead the season series 4-3. Pitch from Weiss, curveball low and away, misses for ball 1.
Yeah, if they end up losing this game and it goes 5-3, they'll come back here on the 17th and be at home on the 24th to try and split the season series, but certainly a far cry difference than that 10-1 against last year, but also certainly two different teams, as that's 2-0.
Yeah, two very different teams. Indeed, the Americans last year went 36-10, whereas the Ironbacks went 10-35. That one lands in the zone, now 2-1. Weiss behind in the count here against a really good hitter in Wes Thompson, who's 0 for 2 today. Pitch. Chop to the left side, fielded by Rowell on a high hop. He'll go across the diamond and make the first out of the inning.
Nice play, Rowell. Played it well on that hop, as you mentioned. Quick first out for Weiss.
Yeah, it is Wednesday, but that's what they like to call the Sunday hop. Right to Rowell on the glove side. Makes the throw across the diamond for the first out of the inning. Here's Peyton Panazzo at the plate, batting from the left side, a switch hitter. Americans actually just signed a switch hitting two-way pitcher-catcher today, Kyrie Harmon.
Certainly curious. We'll get to see him tomorrow against Batavia.
Weiss out of the windup, deals the first pitch to Panazzo. Changeup misses low and away for ball 1. Weiss, a guy that committed to Herkimer County Community College as a two-way outfielder pitcher out of high school. Here's the 1-1 to Panazzo. Skies that one foul out of play down the third baseline. Now 1-1. Weiss unfortunately had Tommy John after he graduated high school. Was up to mid to upper 80s with the fastball coming out of high school. Then had Tommy John, so retreated to a position player only. Now doing some pitching this summer for the Americans. One ball, one strike, one out. Pitch from Weiss to Panazzo. Skied out to center. Coming over is Harris into left center, and he makes the play for the second out of the inning.
Weiss has had a pretty good outing so far. At one innings worth, hasn't given up a hit, but I feel like we've really seen good relieving appearances of the Americans in relief when the game is out of reach. That's like what we saw with Lerner when he played against Geneva when they were already down 10-0. Same thing here. Good outing from Weiss, albeit they're already down 7-0.
So a pinch hitter here for the Ironbacks. Jordan Gallo out of the game. Here's Chase Hubble to pinch hit. Interesting to take out Gallo, who's really dominated this year. But a 7-0 ball game. Richard Griffin doesn't want his stud guy getting hurt. And Hubble drives that one to left field right at Zangardi, who makes a shoestring grab for the third out of the inning. So a tough at bat for Chase Hubble to come off the bench, swing at the first pitch, and smoke a ball, but right at Zangardi for the third out of the inning.
Yeah, Hubble we haven't seen in a while. You think, all right, it's the only at bat I'm getting in this game. Let me just take it all in. Doesn't, as he lines that one to Zangardi, who's made a couple nice plays. Had that one play that went over his head in that double, but I really think he's a guy that should be that everyday outfielder, even though he's a good DH as well.
So the Ironbacks will look to win this one, the third straight against the Americans, who are coming to bat here in the top of the ninth at George Taylor Field.
The Niagara Falls Americans appreciate the support of Stalka Agency. Serving Western New York since 1957, Stalka Agency makes insurance simple through proactive planning and straightforward conversations. Call the local Stalka Insurance team at 716-634-7070 to get a tailored insurance quote that's as precise as a pitcher painting the outside corner. The Niagara Falls Americans would like to thank McDonald's for being a sponsor of the team this year. With an extensive menu of well-known favorites, McDonald's is famous for its convenience. Especially during a long baseball season, McDonald's is the perfect place to grab a quick bite to eat and get right back to the ballpark. So head to your nearest McDonald's and enjoy all the classics. The Niagara Falls Americans thank Casella Waste Systems for their continued support. Casella offers sustainable waste management and garbage pickup right here in Niagara Falls. As an environmental service provider, Casella manages and transforms society's waste into new resources. Call 716-637-4843 to get a price quote on garbage pickup.
Back here at George Taylor Field, we'll take a look around the PGCBL West Division at the standings.
Tavia up 20, first in the league, 20-6 in that West Division. Great home, 13-2. Jamestown right behind them. That tie against Niagara, still really that thorn in their side. It's their half a game behind, 27-1. Auburn up over Newark. They're 16-9, staying in that third spot. Niagara, imagine thinking about this last year, Tom, saying this team's going to be in that playoff spot. Obviously, a couple games to go. 13-14-1, looking to get back to 500. Things hold on. Elmira up against Olean, but right behind 12-13. Olean trying not to drop another one against Elmira. They're 11-14. Geneva right behind them, 10-15. And then Niagara 9-19, and Newark lowly at 4-18.
There's your standings around the PGCBL. Here comes Mr. Consistent at the plate for the Americans. David Harris to dig in. Yeah, the Ironbacks in just their second season, now in a playoff spot here in the second half of the season. So Devin Medor coming in off the bench to play third base for the Ironbacks. Cooper Martin coming out. Chase Hubble will stay in the game at right field for Jordan Gallo. Pitch to Harris, lined up the middle and through for a base hit. Another change also for the Ironbacks. Franklin Griffin III coming out to play second base as Carter Shin comes out of the game. David Harris reaches for his third hit of the night.
I don't know if Carter Shin's going to make that play. That ball was absolutely smoked. Franklin Griffin comes in for the first time in this three-game series. Has that ball go right past him. So finally, the Americans get a leadoff runner on. Just feels like in vain here after the Harris single.
So Harris off first. They trail 7-0. Evan Shank at the plate for his first at-bat of the night. Takes strike number one. Harris off first. Pitch to Shank. Inside corner call to strike from Nick Hayes, a new arm for the Ironbacks, pitching here in the top of the ninth. Harris off first, nobody out. Oh-2 pitch to Shank, outside corner, misses with the heater. Now 1-2. So Shank batting in the DH spot in replace of Ganschow. That one misses outside. A really nice block from Fenwick behind the plate. And then Weiss looks like he'll keep his spot in the lineup.
certainly something we've seen. Tom, we've talked about the errors issue for the Americans in this series against the Ironbacks. Sparring something crazy here. 2 straight games for the Americans where they don't give up an error, but it's really in vain here as it looks like they're about on track to lose 3 in a row against the Ironbacks.
Pick off to first. Harris back in time. Yeah, if they were to lose 3 straight to the Ironbacks, that would also mark 8 in a row just in total. Pitch to Shank in the dirt. Another good block from Fenwick as Hayes spiked a fastball. Now 3-2. Nick Hayes leading this Ironbacks team this summer in appearances, a 4.15 ERA on the summer.
Americans try not to make it 9 in a row. They've only won 9 games in the year, trying not to lose 9 games in a row. So you mentioned Hayes, only 1 wild pitch has been really close here. The only reason he hasn't is because of Fenwick behind the dish.
So Harris off first. The 3-2 to Shank. There goes Harris, and it's ball 4. So the first 2 runners of the inning on for the Americans, mounting a little comeback here against the Ironbacks in the top of the 9th.
Something you wish the Americans had done earlier in this game. So it brings up Dominic Zangardi, who's left 4 runners left on base at first and second, a couple flyouts. Trying to at least not have that 0 in that run column for the Americans.
Got to give Evan Shank some credit. Battled all the way back down 0-2 to a walk. Pitch to Zangardi. Fouled straight back. Down 0-1. This is a big at-bat for a guy like Dom Zangardi, who's been up with runners on first and second now the 3rd time tonight. Zangardi 1 homer on the year. Here's the 0-1. Skies that one out to deep center. Thompson going back near the track, and he hauls it in for a deep fly out. Harris will not tag up, and Zangardi drills the ball to center, but Wes Thompson tracks it down for the first out of the inning.
Feels like that's been the story of this game. Harris thought it was going to go over his head, was sort of reading that ball, watching it, and saw it could try and get back. Thought about tagging up to third, but doesn't opt to, as it brings up Adam Weiss, who had a good game in relief, Tom. No earned runs in an inning. Looking to give Americans at least one thing to smile about with a run as we're in this top of the 9th.
So first and second, 1 out. The Ironbacks lead 7-0. Adam Weiss at the plate here against Nick Hayes. Hayes got 24 strikeouts and 17 1/3. Pitch to Weiss. Curveball in there, called strike 1. Hayes plays his collegiate ball at Tiffin University. Actually pitched on opening day against the Americans. Went 1 inning. Didn't allow a run or a hit, and had a strikeout in that game all the way back on June 3rd.
Feels like years ago, Tom.
0-1, Hayes will step off. Also pitched on June 11th, that Education Day game against the Americans. Went an inning, and again, didn't allow a hit or a run, so 2 scoreless in those 2 outings against the Americans. Swung on and missed. Strike 2 by Weiss. Also appeared in the June 17th game against the Americans. Went 2 innings, suffered a loss, gave up 3 runs on 3 hits. So now his 4th appearance of the year against the Americans alone. So really been brought in a lot against the red, white, and blue this year. Pitch 0-2 to Weiss. From Hayes outside, misses now 1-2.
Pretty good ERA for reliever, Tom, at that 4.15. And, relievers obviously get those losses a lot, 0-2 on the year, but really doesn't show how great of a season he's really having.
Yeah, 11 strikeouts in his last 5 outings as well. Done a good job out there. Weiss fouls that one off, able to lunge and hit it out of play, keeping this at-bat alive. So 7 Ks in his last 2 outings, but 11, like I mentioned, in his last 5. So 24 strikeouts on the year, which puts him at a 12.46 K per 9, which, if you're not familiar with that stat, that means strikeouts per 9 innings. If Hayes were to start a game and go all 9, he'd most likely have around 12.5 strikeouts. Here's the 1-2. Outside, misses a good block from Fenwick. Harris taking off for third. He'll make it, but Shank stays put at first.
Weiss checked his swing on a pitch that was way outside. Harris able to move over. Does actually have a double play ball here, but 2-2 count worked by Weiss. Just got to put a lot on it.
So Shank now off first. Harris off third. Count 2-2, 1 out of the inning. Here's the pitch to Weiss. Misses inside, now 3-2. Just off the inside corner.
Weiss looking for that first walk of the game, really how he makes his work and load the bases.
Yeah, he's hit the ball hard a couple times tonight. A couple deep flyouts to center and a lineout. Pitch misses in the dirt, ball 4. That'll load the bases for Tom Marcotte coming up to the plate, and Tyson Gom will take a stroll to the mound, talk things over with his reliever here in the top of the ninth.
Yeah, they opted to bring in Nick Hayes after a solid outing from Newman. And now big spot here, obviously that 7-run cushion, huge. And they'd still be up 3 even if Marcotte homered.
So Tyson Gom talking to his reliever. We'd like to give a huge thank you to all of the Niagara Falls Americans sponsors this year to partner with the team. Americans have lots of options to make your presence known in your community. Please visit the website at www.niagarafallsamericans.com to get involved today. Huge thank you to all the official partners of the Americans this season. So we're here at George Taylor Field in St. Catharines, Ontario on a Wednesday night in early July.
Please do not grab the mesh. You are in play and you can get hurt there.
The 8th meeting between these two teams on the air. The Ironbacks lead the season series 4-3. Tom Marcotte at the plate. First pitch from Hayes. Check swing. Out of the first baseline foul. Hayes gonna walk out. Excuse me, the home plate umpire gonna walk out and talk to Hayes, give him a baseball, give Marcotte a little breathing room after fouling that one off the hands. So Marcotte batting from the right side against the righty Nick Hayes out of Tiffin University, Division II school in Ohio. Teammates with his center fielder tonight in Wes Thompson. 0-1 count, pitch to Marcotte. In there, called strike 2 with a fastball.
You've talked about Marcotte's struggles, Tom. Obviously, only 4 hits on the year. Certainly looking for a big one here to just at least give up a run for the Americans.
Here's the 0-2 in there, called strike 3. Sends Marcotte back to the dugout for the second round of the inning. A nice curveball by Nick Hayes. And the Americans down to their final out here in Vinny Favada at the plate.
That's the hitter, Vincent Favada.
Americans had the bases loaded. Would be a shame if they didn't score any here in the top of the ninth as Favada takes ball 1.
Favada, at the very least, does have a hit. Only one in the end of this Americans lineup. Harris has 3. And Shank has 1.
Pitch, Favada lines that one into left, going back, Bushin. He'll make the play. That ends the game in the Battle of the Niagaras. The Ironbacks take all 3 this week, 3 in a row, this time in St. Catharines. And now they lead the season series against the Americans 5-3. And another win for the Ironbacks. They've won 4 in a row. The Americans now lost 8 in a row.
The Ironbacks player of the game. We have both players in the game tonight. Number 6, Carter Francia. 3.1 innings of 1 hit ball and no earned runs allowed. Number 72, Mateo Sursta, 2 for 3 with a walk and 2 RBIs. That was win number 14 of the year for the Ironbacks. As a reminder, our next home game is Friday, 2 days away. It's community vendor night here as the Geneva Red Wings come to George Taylor Field to face off with your Ironbacks. Gates open at 5 and the first pitch is set for 6:30. And all of us here at George Taylor Field, we thank you for attending tonight's game.
So the Ironbacks win a big one tonight against the Americans. 7-0, holding the Americans scoreless. You got to give all the credit in the world to Richard Griffin and his ball club tonight because they really came out and put on a really high-quality performance, beating the Americans 7-0 for the third straight night as well in the game. The Ironbacks scored 7 runs on 11 hits and 1 error in the ball game. The Americans, no runs on 7 hits. No errors for the Americans, so no defensive miscues tonight for the red, white, and blue, but they were unable to push across any runs in this one, and especially that last inning, a big disappointment for the Americans. They had bases loaded with 1 out, and they weren't able to score anything in the game. And in the inning alone, losing this one 7-0, now falling 8 times in a row.
Just a bad stretch for the Americans. We talked about it, just really been struggling to get the runs across. And even when these games against the Ironbacks, where they lost 9-4 and had one last time, outscored 7-0 today. Americans had runners in scoring position numerous times in this game, and they just couldn't get them across. It's like that's been the story of this game so far.
So an unbelievable start from Carter Krawchuk, going 3 1/3 scoreless on the mound. And an unbelievable job by the Ironbacks to hold the Americans scoreless once again. This offense been really shut down these past couple games. Looking for a big game tomorrow against the Muck Dogs in Batavia.
It just felt like the Americans couldn't really handle when Krawchuk was in. He only went 3 1/3, but it just felt like they were out of it. And they were only down 2-0, Tom, or only down 1-0 when he left, and they were able to get runners on against Corbin first and second with 2 outs, 2 straight innings, but just couldn't really. They bent him, but they couldn't really break him. He's going to get the win here, and it's a great stuff here from Krawchuk, who hasn't pitched all year. Quite frankly, if you're an Americans fan, you wish he hadn't pitched against you. He looked dominant, and that's why he's a D1 guy.
So the Americans, no runs, 7 hits, no errors, 10 men left on base. The Ironbacks, 7 runs, 11 hits, 1 error, 12 runners left on base. They win this one against the Americans, the third straight. The Americans travel to Batavia tomorrow. We'll be live here on the American Sports Network for the battle of 2 Can USA ball clubs. I'm Tom Rook alongside Ethan Duncan. We say thanks so much for